Hello, board members. How we doing this fine Sunday afternoon? Well, I hope. As it is Puzzle Sunday, we are going to be returning for almost the end of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. We are beginning the first day in court of the last case of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. And, yeah, I'm very happy we're almost done for a little while. I don't even know what we're going to do next. I don't know what's next on the docket, but I'll be so happy to not be here for a little bit. Just not to be in this realm dealing with this nonsense just for a hot second. Welcome, Ika. How goes it? Pretty good. Portal 2? We could do Portal 2. I've never played through Portal 2, the solo campaign. I've only played through the co-op campaign. So we could play through Portal 2. It begins. But last week, we went to a special training session for Maya at a remote mountaintop temple. And it turns out a woman who had attempted to get us arrested for murder was there, who had also been found guilty of murdering someone else, her boyfriend at the time that she tried to get Phoenix in trouble for murder, and before that got away with stealing a precious gem in a whole nother unrelated incident that had to do with Maya before she'd even met Phoenix. So this woman had been causing lots of troubles for a long time. She is now being accused of killing, this random woman is being accused of killing a famous children's book author, and we've been tasked with finding out, or we've been tasked with defending her in court, and thus we need to figure out what actually happened. Or could do a search 'em. That's true. What we'll probably do, that's a good point. What we'll probably do is we'll finish the one we started for that special event on New Year's Day. True Fear Forsaken Souls 2. We can probably finish that up. And then what we can do after that, we could probably do Portal 2 after that. And then what we can probably do is, what I'm thinking right now is, since I do want to get another search'em in there, is like an actual proper search'em, is we could probably, well, I guess we could do a search'em on a Sunday, yeah, because there's usually puzzles, so I think it would still technically count as a Puzzle Sunday thing. So yeah, maybe what we do is we finish up True Fear Forsaken Souls 2, and then we can actually start a proper actual search'em, because I have a whole trilogy of another one that is definitely a search'em. I remember this very specifically being a search'em, and we can we'll play through at least one of those before we start Portal 2. That way we can do something completely different than the Phoenix Wright stuff. We can make that last for a little while. But yeah, so just here we go, team. Here we go. Where's our last save? Looks like it's this one. Wait. Oh, episode 5, part 2. Yeah, so part 1 was the investigation. Part 2 is the trial. Woo! Here we go, team. Here we go. But Ika, how are you doing? Hopefully you had a nice day. February 9th, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 1. Oh, the other thing I forgot about is we're playing as Edgeworth right now. And instead of having Maya, we have Gumshoe as our kind of backup person. So even though Gumshoe is, or Edgeworth is technically a prosecutor, he's playing defense in this case. Oh my, Mr. Lorius feels that way about me? Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not, and in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Lawrence is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini? She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I did. Enjoyed some D&D with writing friends. Nice! I hope that's going well. Hopefully you're still having fun with the Stroud stuff. I've heard very mixed things about it, so I'm hoping you're enjoying it. Yeah, the edge-tagonist. There we go. I forgot we called it that. Yeah, he's the edge-tagonist. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Ellis DeMaw, or whatever. What do we... Donam? Yeah, I think it was Donam? Miss Ellis Donam, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well, then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed... Don't worry, I've made the necessary arrangements. I see. Iris? It's the prosecutor's job to doubt people. Right now, I'm a defense attorney. The defense attorney's job is to believe in people and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. Mr. Edgeworth? I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to the task I've been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. Ice the Unknown Ranger, welcome. Did have a bit of a brutal fight, but thanks to my Dr. Paladin's healer feat, I got the party back up in shape. I got lucky and rolled max healing on it 3 times in a row. Nice. Wow, so the healer thing's paying off for you, huh? It's, what? If you have a healing kit, you can use a D8 during a short rest to add, like, healing or something? I got attacked by a chair in D&D yesterday. Oh, no. Not by it. What kind of chair? Just, like, an actual, like, chair? Did you just get angry and the chair won initiative? Or was it, like, a crazy mutated chair? Or was it a mimic pretending to be a chair? There's a lot of options for how a chair could beat you up in D&D. I'll give you that much. A mimic? Yeah, they'll get you. Those troublesome mimics, I tell you what, they'll give you a hard time. February 9th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 7. Also, let me know how it sounds. 1d6 plus 4 plus target's maximum hit dice. We're at level 2. Alright, so it would be... Okay, so a d6... plus 4 plus target's maximum hit dice. So 2, 6. So a max of a 12 then. So I got 12 3 times in a row. Nice. That's a lot of hit points at level 1. Oh, I guess level 2. At level 2, 12 is still pretty big. I took a lot of damage, but we won. Yeah, mimics are actually no joke. They're actually pretty tough fights if you're lower level, if it's a lower level campaign. They're a joke because they're so prominent throughout pop culture, but they're actually not an unsubstantial monster in D&D. Also, the feat works once per creature per short/long rest. Oh. For level 4? That seems about right. That makes sense. Because I think, depending on what kind of mimic it is, I think it can change... It goes anywhere from, I think, 2 to... a challenge rating of 2 to, I think, 5 or something like that, right? Depending on what kind of mimic it is. So I can use it again after we do a short rest. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever... I think I fought one mimic in D&D one time. And we were doing, like, a short little side thing. Because we knew we had some people who were moving away. And so the DM decided to just kind of throw a bunch of random stuff that some of the players had always wanted to do at us at one night for an adventure, and I think one of the things was finding and fighting a mimic. So that happened, and I think we also fought some kind of dragon, but like not an actual full-size like red dragon, but it was something like a large lizard that was like a dragon. In my last session of that campaign, I got attacked by a broom and pulled an underrail on it and locked it in a room. Yeah. Call me Ice. Ranger's my dog. Fair, fair. Yeah, because your Ice the Unknown Ranger is based off of a D&D character, wasn't it? Let's see. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. Not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before it has a chance to begin. I'm ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant... Actually, it's a reference to the book series The Ranger's Apprentice. Oh, I thought I remember you saying it was a D&D thing, but I do remember us talking about a book, too, so... That makes sense. Remember, if your enemy has no hands, they can't open doors. It's, well... Kinda. That's kind of true. But it also helps that it's just a crazed broom and not like, you know, a zombie with no arms, right? Or a sentient zombie, I guess. I guess a normal zombie would have a pretty hard time opening a door even if it had hands. I think I took 19 damage in total. At level 4, that's a pretty good chunk. I mean, if you're like a barbarian, that's probably not too much, but if you're a wizard, that would probably kill you. I mean, depending on how you built your wizard, but generally speaking, I roll a nat 1 and stab myself for 12 damage today. Oh my god, yeah. Oh, okay, you actually are playing a ranger, though. Okay. See, there's a lot of rangers going on in your name and your references and apparently your D&D character. 19 damage as a ranger at level 4. That's not unsubstantial. That's a pretty good chunk. I would say that's probably over half. Like, I would say that's like probably like 65 to 70% of your HP. That's a pretty good fight. I'm ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant.
Objection!
Oh, no! I thought they were bringing back the guy with the goggles! The prosecution stands ready. Oh, no, no, no! I thought it was the guy with the goggles! Oh, we have to deal with the whipping again. Oh, here it comes, team. Yeah, I was at 18 HP at the end of the fight. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, a little over half, yeah. The prosecution stands ready. And you are? Francesca von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you said. Perchance, you wouldn't be any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I'm a von Karma, that is all. On a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, huh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth... Yes, Your Honor? I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? There is no such weaklings as the man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't? But I'm sure once before in this court... Ow! I told you, there's no such weakling. What is this, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove the whip. Hold it! I have no objection to the whip. It's not your call. It's the judge's courtroom. Oh, God. Oh, God. Why are you defending the whip, Edgeworth? He must just be into it. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Francesca, my max HP is 42. Okay, well, then the 19's not too bad. I didn't think it would be that high at level 4, but... I was slightly injured from another fight. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's got to be into the whip. There's no reason you would let her keep the whip in this. There's none. Zero reason. You don't... The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I'd expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I've been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you. I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionics? What? I mean, it should be hysterics, right? What is this word? Wait, what is this word? I got really good stat rolls. I guess so, because that's pretty high for a ranger. I think Ika's Barbarian doesn't have that many hit points, and they're a level 4 Barbarian, who are known for having hit points. They're childhood friends. He's not into it, but he's aware it's part of her personality and is used to it. I guess. I mean, I guess it's just a nice voucher on his. No, I have 49 if I remember correctly. Oh, really? I didn't realize it was that high. All right. Dang. I'm just going to start just upping the amount of damage I throw at you all then. Here I've been kind of pulling back a little bit because I'm trying not to one-shot anybody, but all right. Fair enough. Yeah, but histrionic? I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Oh, wow. The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Okay, there's one... Okay, if he lets it keep the whip, that's one thing. But being actively assaulting people with it is a different problem. Very well, Miss Von Karma, please give me an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Damal. I incidentally have the highest HP in my party. That's pretty high, yeah, like I said. Ika's character has 49, and he's a barbarian who are known for having lots of hit points. So at 42 for a ranger, that's pretty solid. I think they only get are rangers D10 hit dice, or are they D8s? I don't remember now. Historic adjective disapproving. Add a word very emotional. Okay, wait. Add to word list very emotional / energetic, but not sincere or with real meaning. Oh, weird. I don't think I've ever heard of that word before. Oh, they do get a D10. Okay. I know fighters get a D10, and then barbarians get a D12, so I wasn't sure where a ranger fell on that. But my party consists of a wizard, a cleric, a bard, and a rogue. That's a pretty much perfect mix. Really the only thing... And then a ranger, I guess, for you, right? So, you don't have a super tanky tank in there, per se, but... Right, but that's a pretty solid team. You have a lot of offensive capability. With a rogue and a ranger, the bard for control, a cleric for healing, and a wizard for offense also. That's a lot of offense going out. Your damage output's going to be good. The hard part is going to be tanking a little bit, depending on what your bard is or your cleric is. If you make a war cleric, they can be very tanky. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well, the court accepts this photo of the crime scene. The courtyard where Elise Damal was murdered. Crime photo added to the court record. There is no mistake, this was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. Okay, this judge seems more, mildly more competent than the other guy, at least. I'll give him that much. I don't think either are built for tanking. Oh, okay. Then that might be a problem, but... My writer friend D&D party is Paladin, Barbarian, Wizard, and Druid. Okay, so... You might have a little bit of the other problem is you'll be very tanky, but you might not have the raw damage output that his party, that Ice has, but I can tank, but I'd rather stay in the back. Fair. Because paladins, pretty tanky. Barbarians, very tanky. Wizards, obviously glass cannon. And druids can be, depending on how you what kind of druid it is, can be very tanky, or they can be a little bit more offensive. Like if it's a moon druid, you can turn into animals, which is very tanky, or you can go more of very into heavy spell casting and stuff. And then you have a lot more damage output. Moon beam and everything and such. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. For now, maybe, Edgeworth. Oh, come on. Give the lady a box. Get the soapbox hour so we can see her. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on there. I'm not sure about being not sure if I can care for this at all. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby from our backup... Wait, lobby for our back-ping-plagued witness? Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Thank you! God! Jeez. Healing focused druid, let me see if I can remember her subclass. I mean, if she's healing focused, then she's not going to be offensive or tanking. I mean, a druid can heal. I don't know if they're going to optimize it as much as like a cleric or even potentially a bard could, but they can heal pretty good. Usually our wizard ends up being the default tank because everyone else says, not me. Okay, there are tanky wizards, don't get me wrong. You can make a Bladesinger wizard who's very tanky. Or I had a wizard I made one time who was the protection wizards, who have like the force field around them, and I could make him pretty tanky if I wanted to. So it's not impossible to make a tanky wizard. It's just they don't lean towards it because they have such a low hit dice, right? But there's ways around that. With the right feats, you can overcome some of that limitation. Ugh. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me, well, I'm the head nun of the Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You get it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Ow! The courtroom is the Garden of Holy Judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave the sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist, let me tell you. I'm a sight to behold in summer. Wahahaha. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let's hear what you have to say, then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? Eh? She's not built toward being a tank. Oh, well, you're playing a very dangerous moduling. If you're having your wizard tank that often, then if she's not built to be a tank, you're playing who goes down first, I guess, right? It's like the weirdest version of Russian roulette. Like everyone who gets shoved towards the bear and goes first, I guess, right? Initiative determines who goes first and who doesn't get mauled by the bear. The night of the murder. That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple. But, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple. Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, that I've stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There's only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall for the first hurdle, now are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Our wizard accidentally tanked the last encounter, but it worked out since I already spent the heal on me and the barbarian. Oh, okay. Well, we don't have a tank, so someone has to do it. I mean, you're not wrong. It's just, if you were going to put someone in the front, I don't know. I'd probably be... If it's not you, it would probably be the bard, but... The bards, again, depending on how you build them, can be actually pretty good melee fighters. It just depends on the bard. The night of the murder. That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple. Okay.
Hold it!
Let's get some details about this, please. What is this inner temple? Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right? Well, we'll be the one asking you the questions, madam. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. There's a small temple across the dusky bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. How exactly do you help with this process? It's all quite exacting. It can't be performed without a nun supervising. Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip, in your case. If this is the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple where the murder took place? Well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently.
Hold it!
Better to no tank than no healer, at least. That's true. If you had to make the difference, you're probably better off with a healer, because then you've got... It's kind of a weird thought process, I think, on that one, but at least the healer can kind of help mitigate the damage, and if you get any break in the moment where you don't need to be worrying about healing, you can have more offense. Whereas if you tank and no healer, it's like you're just kind of hoping that... You're hoping nothing goes wrong. There's not really a lot of coming back from it if it goes bad. Violently? That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. Wah, wah, wah. On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right. Raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off. We have plenty of healing, thanks to both our cleric and our bard. Oh, okay. Ah, so that's kind of how you're doing your tanking. You're tanking you're tanking via healing, not with high armor HP. I gotcha. That's an interesting way to do it. I mean, as long as you're all having fun, that's the main key. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple.
Hold it!
You left Iris to help with what? What do you think? The acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercise proper. Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple? Well, the job is simply to watch over the acolytes so that they don't pass away. Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct? Yes, yes. She's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. Oh, wait, we just caught her with something there. There's no bath at the inner temples, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak.
Hold it!
So you returned to Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath? My back is to blame for everything. It's a do or be done in kind of world, after all. How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking? My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. Huh? I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? Ah, this is why you have to watch the young ones. What are you going on about? I was... Gah! Pathetic, Miles Edgeworth. The lowest of the low. Is there some sort of kick-me sign stuck to the defense's bench? He's just getting to feel what it's like to be Phoenix at this point. I mean, Phoenix deals with this stuff non-stop, including from Edgeworth. Druid subclass is Circle of Dreams. Ooh, okay. I'd have to double check to see what that is. Poor Edgeworth, edge-tagonist. He's just getting the Phoenix treatment, and he's not liking it. Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so... It was after I'd finished, just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it.
Hold it!
The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. That's right. In other words, It was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. That certainly seems to be true. There is indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observation skills are. I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently, so I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to the Hazakura temple. So this has got to be... This has got to be the contradiction, right? Like, so I left Iris to help the acolyte at the at inner temple or whatever, but somehow she's in the courtyard. There's no bath in the inner temple. I'm just not sure how I present that. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, she was alive. Her weapon has the victim's blood. I don't think those are going to work out. That's probably not going to be anything for this. Maybe the murder scene? Oh, wait. Oh, no, I didn't mean to... Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Fudge. You say that with such gusto that I suspect I must agree that all there is to it. Don't get smart with me. Get smart with this penalty. Appear that even I can make mistakes. Okay, that's not what I meant to do. I just wanted to look at this. Yeah, so here's Hazakura Temple, here's Inner Temple. So it's got to be the contradiction is I left her at Inner Temple, but now she's back at Hazakura Temple? I would think. I do ironically have a +3 sentiment battle axe. The reason I have it is because I'm the only lawful character in the party. A +3 sentient battle axe. Wow, that's pretty interesting. That's a pretty high-end weapon to give someone at level 4. But I mean, if it's part of your character's background story and the DM doesn't care, that's cool. Let's see, photo of Elise. Iris's testimony. Ring lights out bell at 10. In her room until the murder was discovered. 10. Causes loss of blood from stabbing back. Body fell 10 feet after death. Courtney where Elise was murdered. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. It was after I finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. So I left Iris to help the acolyte, and I returned to the Hazakura temple. You can see my back was like to act violently, and then I was helping an acolyte with their training. Inner temple. I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple. You can see my back was like to act violently. I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura temple. So if it's not the map, what else could it be? The only thing I can think of is the statement that Iris made. Unless it's something like it's the map on like this one and not this one, but it's actually from a quest? Oh. This is their level 2 feature. You have a pool of Fey energy represented by a number of D6s equal to your druid level. As a bonus action, you can choose one creature you can see within 120 feet of you and spend a number of those dice equal to half your druid level or less. Roll the spent dice and add them together. The targets regain a number of hit points equal to the total. The target also gains 1 temporary hit point per die spent. Regain all expended dice when you finish a long rest. Oh, okay, so they like specialize in healing and buffing. Ah, okay, so yeah, that's a pretty good healing druid then. The original owner died from something eating his brain. Forgot what it was. I mean, I've seen so many brains eaten by so many things. How can I remember what his brain was eaten by? We tried saving him, but it was too late. Yeah, it's kind of hard to save someone who's had their brain eaten. You're almost better off letting them die and then go on a quest to bring them back from the dead than trying to save the body if their brain's gone. Reminds me of a video I saw. There was an old series on the internet, the ancient days of the internet, called Red versus Blue, which was a bunch of Halo characters talking to each other and fighting. And there's one of the episodes where a guy gets shot in the head with a sniper rifle, and another guy gives him CPR and brings him back to life. And the medic shows up and is like, "Wait, what happened?" "Yeah, I got shot in the head." And he's like, "Well, wait, how did they bring you back?" And he's like, "I gave him CPR." And he's like, "You gave him CPR when he got shot in the head to save his life and it worked?" He's like, "Yeah." And the medic's like, "What?" But that's what it sounds like, of like, "Yeah, we tried to help the guy whose brain was missing." It's like, yeah, he might be a goner, team. So I left Iris to help the Acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath in the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. I mean, over the murder, her bad back really bothers her. A nun from the Hazakura doesn't seem to have any spiritual power. Since grade school, I don't remember how we became friends, though. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Edgeworth doesn't remember how they became friends. A friend since grade school fell from Dusky Bridge and is currently hospitalized. The prosecutor for this case, he apparently holds some sort of grudge against Wright. That's not the case at all. My mentor, Manfred von Karma's daughter, born/raised in Germany, prosecutor at 13. So it's got to be this. It's just got to be where in her statement do we need to present it? Okay, wait. So it's not here, right?
Objection!
No, it's not there. So then, let's see, and I don't want. After I finished, I just went head back. That's when I saw it. One problem with this testimony. Well, as you can see, my acted violently. With Iris acting, it returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath in the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. So after I finished, I was heading back. That's when I saw it. Okay, is it here? No, it's not that one. Because the only thing I saw in a contradiction there is her telling... She said that Iris always does what I said. I told her to do. But she wouldn't have been in the courtyard if she was actually at the inner temple. So that's the contradiction there. I just don't know how I proved that. I thought it would be the photo of the area. But apparently not. Why is it not about 10 p.m. It was in her room until the murder was discovered. Unless it's this, but I don't know, contradicting it with the defendant's alibi or just version seems weird. I guess we can try that. Let's try, I guess, this.
Objection!
Oh, that was it. Okay. Okay, that was what it was. The contradiction of what Iris said happens versus what she said happened. Okay, fair enough. The Bard wanted the axe as well, but the axe can only be used by someone lawful, and he doesn't have proficiency. Fair. We didn't know his brain had been eaten until afterwards. Oh, wow, that's fair. That's also kind of funny. What about healing magic? Didn't work. What about CPR? Didn't work. Healing kit? Didn't work. Potion? Didn't work. Darn, why isn't any of this working? Rolls the body over. Oh, he doesn't have a brain. Said monster was also possessing him. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know what that creature is, but that sounds pretty cool. We were hoping to kill the monster without hurting him. So thus we ended up with a ranger carrying a big huge axe. Fair. Just fill the brain with jello. I don't think it's a texture thing that is the requirement for that. I think you need a little bit... I think Jell-O is not quite complex enough to fill the place of a human brain, but what do I know? I'm not a scientist. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, well, well. Don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No. She said that? A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back.
Objection!
This is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. But this is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. Why? All people lie. That is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means, you must call your memory into question. Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me, and yet you want to play that module, do you? Well, this isn't exactly what my memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. You think the racking pain of your back might, I don't know, cause you to not be able to focus very well, but alright. Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you're going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony. Let us return to the cross-examination. Nothing short of a wish could save him? I'm sure you could raise him as a zombie. We don't have a necromancer. That'd hardly help with the quest. Well, I mean, there's Speak with Dead, so maybe you could just ask him questions if that's all you needed from him. Or, I mean, there are resurrection spells, depending on what your DM will allow. Of course, those are hard to do and incredibly expensive. And you have to find a cleric actually strong enough to do it, like high enough level, but... there's options, it's just, you know, what's viable in the moment. That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but as soon as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner.
Hold it!
Okay. Are you sure that you're not making a mistake? You, young man, need to get your estimations of me up from the floor. Nerg. Iris always wears the same clothes. The smallest thing out of place would have stood out like a sore thumb to me. You're making a mistake. Thinking I made a mistake. An excellent finish there, witness. Still, I have to wonder. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I need... okay, so that must be this. Received before the lights out bell the night of the crime, protects from evil spirits. So if she wasn't wearing her hood... okay, so, hold on. Okay, so it's probably this, but we save just in case. Okay, what about this?
Objection!
Yes, okay. Good. Good. No, we were just trying to see what was going on with him as he was acting strangely. We still got the crest ward, it's just not the ending we were seeking. Ah, gotcha. Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon warning hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wah. Wait a minute.
Objection!
Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day now, isn't it? Miss Von Karma. I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Well. It's not a bad feeling at all exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Fair. Order! Order in the court. Witness. Ah! Sister. This hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see. A stockpile. A surplus of hoods, huh? Each dun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. Then this is quite strange. Ah. If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There's no contradiction here. Sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness? While I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. I don't know how I feel about this terminology. Contradictory stimulation. I don't... I'm gonna pat my head and rub my tummy at the same time, and it's really gonna convince the judge that there's a problem here. After my bath, okay, these are the important details. I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was, oh, Mystic Elise. Iris was, and with the sword of all things, Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. Wait, how do you know that? You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Or, well, something like that. This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miss Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? After my bath. I finished my bath around 11 and thought I should return to the inner temple.
Hold it!
How far is it from your room to the inner temple? Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes on these stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge. Still, you never made it past there that night, did you? That's right. I was heading along the walkway toward the main hall. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and...
Hold it!
You say you heard a noise. Thump? Just like that. That could only be the sound of the victim falling. It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can't even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump, just like that. But then, couldn't this noise you have heard been snow falling to the ground? I never thought of that. Wahaha, wahaha, wahaha. Ho 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 ho. Wah. The next one to laugh gets a whipping. Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over at the courtyard and... Iris was, oh, Mystic Elise, and with that sword of all things.
Hold it!
This is the second time that the witness has testified to seeing the defendant, but some doubt remains in these claims. Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to. The murderer who stabbed the victim with the sword. Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw, as clearly as you can. Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time. Please, don't keep us in suspense. Her hood. Her hood? That's right. It's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given the hood away to someone, right? Irk. Ha. You dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth. What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important? I mean, probably. It's probably important. I won't say it's not important. I'm just gonna override this one, I think. I'm gonna say it's important. This may initially appear to put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at this moment. Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to the testimony. Keith, Mile Edgeworth, if you want to hang yourself, you only need to ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip. I also incidentally saw the series in a rage module for actual attorneys. I've watched several of those videos, and we've posted a few over on the Discord about that. It's interesting. A lot of the stuff I was thinking from an actual lawyer's perspective, a lot of them have brought some of those same complaints up. I have tried to watch some other people who have nothing to do with law or this module play it blind. And as I've talked about in the past, apparently they loved it. They thought it was great. So it's one of those things where there's people who love this, and that's why there's so many of them. It's just not necessarily my thing, personally. And that's okay. I can appreciate that other people appreciate it, you know? I don't have to love everything ever made. It's just, some things aren't for me, as some things are not for other people, right? Witness, add that statement to your testimony. No problem. Now that you mention it, Iris didn't have her hood on. Okay.
Hold it!
You're sure about that? Yes. After all, we always wear the same clothes. I don't mean because we're poor, you understand. It's our style. Yes, that's it. There's absolutely no need to explain yourself. Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that really stuck out. Like me holding a whippet puppy instead of my whip. At least then it might bite you and not someone else. Iris didn't have her hood on, I'm sure of it. Very well. Now, please tell us about the victim. Eh? I forget he's Canadian, so he's saying A and not Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard.
Hold it!
The room the victim was staying in overlooked the courtyard, correct? Which means the victim's room was on the second floor? No. Hazakura Temple is a single-story building, but the mountain itself slopes downward, which elevates the main gate side of the temple and the guest rooms in the back to about the height of a two-story building. I see. And the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct? Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to her room, after all. Wait, how did you carry... Okay, wait. That's a contradiction, too. How did you carry this stuff to her room if your back is so bad? That's a contradiction in and of itself. She's saying that it's hard for her in the winter to lift more than a fork and spoon, yet you're carrying someone's bag to their room? How is that working? The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out the window.
Hold it!
Why do you say that? What makes you sure of all this? It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from this courtyard, okay? Thump, just like that. You're one smart sister, I'll give you that. The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height. Also, that said it happened after she died, which is the weird part, but it appears that the witness was not mistaken then. Yep. I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. Only 2 of them working there. What's wrong, Miles Edgeworth? No snappy comeback remark? Doesn't feel like she is lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the instant in which the defendant stabbed the victim. Only 2 things I can believe right now. My client, Iris, and my own ability as a defense attorney. Finished my bath around 11 and thought I should return to the inner temple. What do I got for stuff to talk, like, to contradict something here? Shows her a temple and the surrounding area. Let's see something. See, what I'm confused about is this statue. Because in the other one, I thought the statue had the hand going up. So in my mind, what happened is the lady fell off the second story, hit this sword, and then it plunged into her, and then Iris showed up and tried to pull it out to save her life. But Iris is pretending like she wasn't there at all, which is really, really strange to me. Time 10 to 11 p.m. cause. Also blood. I mean, the 10 to 11 is kind of a little weird, but because I mean, she's saying it was around 11, so probably after 11 this is when it happened, but that's probably just a light discrepancy. I don't think there's anything to call on that. Featuring Hazakura Temple. Oops. Temple in the surrounding area. Monitor report has the victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints on. In relation to them when she was alive, has her fingerprints on it. We're also still missing her giant amethyst, which is concerning. Magic bottle. Dang, where are they at? There's a castle in the background. That's pretty fancy. It's about 10 p.m. I was in her room until the murder. I assume that they're not going to have me do this as another contradiction to the 11 o'clock thing. I finished my bath around 11 and thought I should return to the inner temple. As I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris, old Mystic Elise, and with that sword of all things. Now that you mention it, Iris didn't have her hood on. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. I feel like she's lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. I must have seen the instant in which the defendant stabbed the victim. Look, two things I can believe in right now. My client Iris and my own abilities as a defense attorney. She heard a thud, went to investigate, and found her stabbing her with the sword. Walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris says, "Oh, my Mystic Elise," and with the sword of all things. Should we? Wait, hold on.
Hold it!
This is the second time the witness has tested seeing the defendant, but some doubt remains in his claims. I don't know who stabbed the victim with the sword. But can you try to recall exactly who it was? Having a saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of the window. Staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. I have a map of that. Oh, this is the whole temple and the surrounding area, though. Weather data. Mountain weather data. Snow with occasional lightning strikes. 10 to 11 p.m. Lightning strike Dusky Bridge at 10:45. Around 30 minutes passed between the fire starting going out. Approximately 10:30 lightning, 10 to approximately 11 p.m. Well, if the lightning hit the bridge, first of all, well, I guess if it's 20 minutes by foot, they might not have heard the lightning loud enough to be distracting. Because the thought process at first was, well, if the bridge got hit with lightning, it's not that far away, so the thunder from that would have been really loud. But it is like a 15-minute walk, so it's not super close. But a 15-minute walk isn't very far away either. I feel like if lightning had struck near them, they would have heard a huge bang from that. I mean, she was apparently unconscious until Phoenix found her and accidentally stepped on her or whatever, but... Salutation here. There is something I must talk to you about. I'll be waiting for you tonight at 10 at Heavenly Hall. Make sure you come unless you want your secrets to be exposed. Salutation here. Tonight at 10. Unless they want me to present that and show that she wasn't there. I heard a noise from the courtyard. It was my bath around 11, and I thought I'd return to the inner temple. Heard a noise. I mentioned that Iris didn't have her hood on. I was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. Stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. Wait, if she was pushed out of her window, she wouldn't have been carrying her staff. That's got to be the contradiction. Clearly she is a criminal. Locker. Wait, that's... I swear I'm not an elk. Welcome. But also that's what we're trying to prove right now. I'm trying to find the contradiction, but I think this is it. If she was pushed out of her window, she wouldn't have been walking around with her staff. And when she fell, she had her staff with her. I think that's got to be it. Let's see. Hold on.
Objection!
Nope. Man. My Dr. Paladin accidentally stabbed himself for 12 damage at level 2 today. I mean, did you accidentally smite yourself as part of the process? Or did you just max crit on your axe or something? Did you roll like, what would that be? Did you roll like a max damage D8 on a rapier and then +4 it up to a 12? Almost max damage? 12 wasn't even your max damage with that thing? Jeez. After stabbing I saw, I must have occurred after she was pushed out the window. NPC rolling a nat 1 and then a nat 20. Okay, so that's not the contradiction. I don't think there's anything in the personality that would contradict any of this, right? Unless it's the picture of her. Courtroom, which faces him. Back, I heard a noise from the courtroom. Wait. Maybe it's... If it's not the staff, it might be the picture? Maybe it's the picture of her?
Objection!
Nope, it's not that. What else could it be that contradicts what she's saying? Occurred after she was pushed out of her window. Is it the courtyard itself? I want the side view of this. Because, I mean, if she fell, she could have done whatever in the air. Because it's weird, because I'm pretty sure her room was supposed to be over here. And her body is facing towards the room instead of away from it. So if she was pushed, you would think she would fall on, like, out of the window and be facing away from the room. And in fact, I think in her witness, the vision, the mental image they show of her vision of the stabbing, she's actually facing the other direction. Because I think Iris is standing above her and, like, pulling the knife out or putting the knife in, and the statue is on behind them from where they're at with the rock behind the statue. This is actually, her body's facing the wrong direction of the murder scene that they showed earlier. D8 plus 3 from Dex, plus 2 for dual fighting style. Oh, dueling fighting style. Gotcha, gotcha. I think my max damage on my axe is 17. That makes sense. If it's a large, full-size, like combat axe, a 17 seems possible. Because you got the plus 3 from the magic, plus whatever your stats are, plus the D12 from the axe itself. So, what kind of aerial nun do you think she is? What? What do you mean aerial nun? I'm trying to figure out what my contradiction is here to progress this, alright? After that zombie thing with the paralysis poison hit me, I was paralyzed for most of the fight. After that, a zombie thing with paralysis poison hit me, and I was paralyzed for most of the fight. Oh. Doing stuff in the air? No. Okay, first of all, the person who died, she's not a monk, she's a mystic, and she was here on, like art reconnaissance. So this isn't an aerial nun, this is just a traveling bookmaker. What is a mystic if not a big-headed monk? What? Aerial. I know what aerial is. I know what you mean. I'm saying I don't understand what you were talking about, but you're talking about that you thought this was a nun. This isn't a nun. This is a traveling children's picture bookmaker who was in the area to get inspiration for new art for one of her books. I can understand the confusion because she's kind of wearing a weird robe or whatever, but she's not a nun. Oh, she's a monster. She's not a... What? Well, I mean, that's a personal opinion. Ariel is a mermaid princess. I was a little confused about that at first, but I put it together, like, saying it out... Well, saying it in my head a couple times to get that to work, but... She sounds unbearable to have at a party. Apparently, everyone thought she was incredibly, like, charming and... What's the term? I can't remember what the term is, but she's very charming. Everyone liked her, so... What a bee. I bet she knows it too. Well, she's dead now, so at least you've got that up on her. Our only people. Maybe it's the... Maybe it is this. A window?
Objection!
No, it's not the crime scene photo. I don't know. She was a very nice lady. By all accounts, yes, she's a very nice lady. I mean, I don't know what she's like in her personal time, but no one had a bad thing to say about her, so if she was mean to people, no one noticed. If I forgot on Friday, remind me I need to upgrade my bucket. Right, your bucket thing. But they spend money having a bench placed in her honor, the cow. Wow. I mean, they might upgrade the place for her or something, but that they'll spend money having a bench placed in her honor. Yeah, I think I get what you mean. Staying in her corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. Well, you mentioned it, it's in the neighborhood. Because I don't think I have anything that contradicts this. Yeah, because this is just the area. This doesn't show the inner workings of the actual temple itself. Her weapon has the victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints on it. It's not really a contradiction. Green hole. Maybe she dropped it. Look for the temple in the surrounding area. By her only pupil. Lawrence Dalamu. Dayanam or whatever. Lawrence. Back. Body fell 10 feet after death. This is after death. Maybe that's the contradiction? This occurred after she was pushed out of her window. Maybe that's the contradiction. Or is that?
Objection!
That's the contradiction. Okay. Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else. Especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to make another look at the autopsy report? Jeez. Why do you hate her so? What did she ever do to you? Lived a better life as a better person than me. A true criminal. Sounds like a you problem. Oh, Edgeworth, forgot you were playing as the stunning hunk of a man. Yeah. The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right. It says after death right here. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. The defendant was stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard. How did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Order. The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room, don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below.
Objection!
Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Damon's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard? Okay. However, if there was no blood in the room, then your claim that... Sure, there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure your honor is well aware. But when a stab wound produces the most blood... When it produces the most blood? Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. You want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body? That would be when the blade is removed. Indeed. With the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. You're getting a little... Okay. That's true. With this weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to a conclusion, then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Actually, it doesn't, since in the picture, it looks like the statue is still holding the sword. So how is the sword in its hand if it was not there and stabbed into her in her body before that? Playing as the edge-tagonist, yeah. Poppy Edge. Edge me, Poppy. Oh, God. Yes, the bonk was warranted. Even his objections are better. Depends on how long after the item is removed. If they're dead for an hour, then you remove the sword, you might be in the clear blood spill-wise. Well, yeah, once the heart stops pumping, that's a different story. That's actually correct. That's why they tell you to leave the object in when you get a puncture wound. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's dependent on what stabbed you where and stuff. But yeah, literally, most of the time you want to leave a stabbing in if you can. To keep the wound sealed and also technically pulling the weapon out could cause more damage on top of it. That's why you're not supposed to pull out an arrow. When you get hit with like an arrow, you're not supposed to pull it out because pulling it out will tear because of the tips of the arrowhead. So you're supposed to leave it in and then have it removed later, or occasionally you see in the movies push it through, but that's a whole different issue. Like another thing you see in movies a lot is that arrows will mess you up if you pull. Yes, they will absolutely just tear you up if you pull the arrow out. The arrowhead can also get lodged in. Yeah, that's a different problem. Yeah, for sure. Eye stabs are the worst. Can't move either eye. Oh, that makes sense because they're connected, right? Yeah, the other one that I like from movies a lot is anytime someone gets shot, the first thing they have to do is remove the bullet. which is not at all the case. That is not the priority necessarily in being shot, is removing the bullet. Pulling the bullet out at some point is important, but the primary thing is needing to cover the wound to stop the bleeding. Getting the bullet out is not necessarily the first thing you need to do. This removes all the contradictions. It does not. I can prove that. Order, order, order. I must admit that this is a probable version of events. I expect no less from Francesca von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clear testimony from the witness. Remove all suspicions of our part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please. Remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape. Especially my back and my mood. Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. Ooh. Ooh. With the whip? Well, I mean, that's not fun. Oh, boy. All right, all right. That was a series of interesting interactions. Or you live with a bullet in you. Yeah. I mean, in modern science, though, it's a lot safer to get something removed than it used to be. I mean, back in, like, Civil War times, it was quite common for people who had, especially men who had lived through Civil War and stuff, to deal with a bullet or a wound like that. But nowadays, it's a lot easier to pull shrapnel out of bodies. Or you never pull it out if you're in the Ace Attorney. Right. There's no reason he couldn't have gone to another country and had that removed. 100%. He's very famous and very rich. There's no reason he couldn't have left this country, gone somewhere else, and had that removed. That was an incredibly silly bit in this module. Horrific thing to say to a person you shot. I mean, he shot himself by accident in an attempting to commit a murder, so... Or no, how did that go? Oh, no, the gun went off and went through the window, hit him by complete accident. He had like a weird rage moment and then picked up the gun and shot and killed Edgeworth's dad. Plenty of people spend their entire lives with a bullet in them. True. Not in the UK, they don't. Well, you might want to double check your facts on that one. Nah, Francesca respects holy women? Oh, I guess we'll have to find that out at some other time. Or most countries without naming the without naming the exceptions. Well, hence why she never whips bikini. I guess that could be true. Maybe she respects her. Ace never pulls out? Okay, first of all, that's incredibly vague. But second of all, the only person we know of in this who got shot and left the bullet in there is Francesca's dad, the other Von Karma, who is convicted of murder. He was shot by Edgeworth by accident when he threw the gun. Oh, okay, it was Edgeworth that... Okay. I remember that the bullet went off, bounced off the wall, went through the window in the elevator, and hit him in the hallway. But I couldn't remember how the gun went off. But it was Edgeworth picked up the gun and then threw it. Then the gun went off by accident and then hit him. Okay, that's what it was. Gotcha. Thank you, Ice. All right. Further details. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? When I awoke, Mystic Ami was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. It does not, in fact. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility for Francesca Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you that, just that. Further details. Even with modern medicine, some bullets are too risky to remove. That's true. It's just easier nowadays than it was back in, like, Civil War times and stuff. Nowadays, we know that, like, hey, maybe we should clean the wound and use sterile equipment and not just, whatever's around. I mean, maybe we shouldn't just stick my mud-covered hand into open wounds and, use random sticks as stuff. Then it's far safer to leave the bullet in. Completely true. Completely true. I've been present for embedded glass removals to the abdomen, but never a bullet. Well, you live in England. Firearms are basically illegal there without lots of permits and stuff. So the amount of bullets you're probably dealing with is very low. I would expect you to see a lot more stabbings. Like, glass makes sense to me, but I would think you would see a lot more stabbings. The extra mud builds character right up until you die of dysentery or whatever. Like, right until you die of gangrene in your heart because, you know, someone got shot in the chest and they just put their finger in there and pulled the bullet out covered in mud or whatever. But for those couple of, like, weeks that you're in agony, that's a lot of character building. You're not wrong. Been a while since I've had a good stat. Listen, you don't... You have a live-with boyfriend. Take that up with him. Whatever you two get up to, that's up to you. We don't need to know about that. Further details. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place.
Hold it!
At the time, was the victim bleeding? Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course. So I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood, not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed? Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise.
Hold it!
Think carefully. This is very important. It's Iris we were talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No. When I looked over, the sword was already in Mystic Elise's body. It might not be conclusive, but this is testimony supports her theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miss Miles Edgeworth. I've never seen so much blood before.
Hold it!
So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flaked clothes were neatly folded in the corner. What? Those were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press the point further? Yeah, we gotta press the point. We gotta keep pressing the point, team. Bonk? Why are you bonking me? Look, I don't... If anybody's gonna stab you, it's going to be your boyfriend. You need to go to a medical professional. I mean, it's like the guy... It was a few years ago now. Actually, maybe like 10 years ago. There was a guy... I was talking about work, you animal. Oh, I thought you were just trying to get, like, cool scar art. There was a guy, like, 10 years ago, who, it was kind of a big deal for a little while. He had went to a piercing place, and he set up to have a bullet. He set up to basically, he wanted a gun wound scar art. So he went to a tattoo guy who got, like, well, I don't know if he got permission, but they set up a very safe location, or safe setting, and basically shot the guy with a real gun to give him a bullet hole wound scar on his body. If I remember right, I think the tattoo parlor guy got in trouble, but I don't remember now. Honestly, given the circumstances of that case, Edgeworth should have never been on trial. Even if he had shot his dad, so what? He was delirious from lack of oxygen and his dad was being attacked. He only threw the gun to help his dad. The fact it went off would have been an unfortunate accident, especially since he was a young child. Yeah, there was a lot of reasons he would have never been on trial for what happened to his dad, but this module is completely bonkers, so that's not even the thing. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed, but now you say you saw the victim bleeding? Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day. Pulling the sword out? Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out? Witness, you want to add this statement to your testimony. Oh. Was that important? More important than you can imagine. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged plunge to the hilt was smoothly drawn out.
Hold it!
Smoothly, you say? You're saying you saw the sword smoothly slide out? That's right. The whole thing happened right next to that gold statue of Mystic Ame. Mystic Elise was on the ground and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried up to the hilt. What? When Iris stood up, the sword in her hand just slid out of Mystic Elise's body. It slid out from that gaping wound. It goes without saying that if the sword was removed, there would be bleeding. Nothing out of place here. Is that really the case? No! Hold on. Where's the... Does this look like the sword was removed? True. The module is the most enjoyable when you don't take it too seriously. Yeah, and that's a problem I have in general. The module devs didn't claim to be experts on law in the courts, and the module is meant to be entertaining first and foremost. Well, yeah, I understand that. And like I said, it's for other people. For me, I have a hard time detaching from some things. That was the murder weapon. Yeah. If anything, what maybe would have been going on here is that the sword was put back in to try to attempt to plug the wounds back up after the sword came out. Though that's an incredibly also silly thing to do because all you're going to do is probably complicate things. They put it back to preserve the crime scene. Yes, exactly. How does someone give a statue a sword like that? Well, the last time we saw this statue, the sword was facing up, I believe, not down. Second, I don't know how they took the sword out, put it back in the statue while it was also in the body. Because as we can see in this photo, it's still being held by the statue. She saw lots of blood, so it came out, and I feel like the sword is to cover the real weapon? Could be. I don't know. The one pulling it is small. That is a big sword. It is. It's probably a big... Probably iron sword, if I had to guess, off the top of my head. I don't know exactly what it's made out of. I don't know if it mentions, but... There's a lot of things that are apparent here that no one is talking about. Yeah, well, oh no, wait, you know what? I think it's jade. Did they mention it was jade? I think they mentioned that it's a jade sword, so would it be a pretty heavy stone sword? Yes, jade. Okay, right. So this is a jade sword, which is going to be pretty heavy. It's not as heavy as metal, but it's still made out of solid stone. It's not glass, which I think would be lighter than jade. Depending on, I guess, the type of glass it is. Is that really the case? I can't help but feel that something about this testimony is very out of place. That something which couldn't possibly have happened appears to have happened. I've never seen so much blood before.
Hold it!
Was the bleeding caused by the killer removing the sword? No mistaking it, I remember it all, clear as day. Don't you think that's a bit odd? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? Why would the killer pull out the sword? What? If all she wanted to do was place the weapon in the hand of the golden statue, then there was no reason to remove it from the body. All that would have accomplished is causing the victim to bleed unnecessarily. And your thoughts, Miss Von Karma? That's... Indeed. It is strange now that you mention it. Yes, I'm going to need to find an answer to this mystery, too. Anyway, the witness saw something terrible. So what did you do after that, witness? Are we sure it's jade? It was bent in the stolen turnabout. Yeah, it was... Yeah, I agree. In the stolen turnabout, it was shown to have a bend in it. Jade doesn't bend. No, it should have broken. Again, this is a weird contradiction of stuff. I swear at one point they mentioned that the sword was made out of jade, but it had a bend in it in the other one. So maybe it's going to reveal at some point that the sword has been replaced over time. Okay, then it's mithril. It was made by the strongest dwarven blacksmiths out of mithril. Maybe it's jade encrusted? Maybe? We've had a lot of issues with this sword, alright? Also, there's no bend in it anymore, so apparently somebody fixed it at some point. So there's a lot of problems with this sword. And that's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you?
Hold it!
Now, on to what the killer did next. You saw none of it, correct? Well, I was unconscious. How long were you out for? I don't know, 10, maybe 20 minutes? A young man with a very prickly-looking head woke me up. By stepping on me, actually. Not sure I like that method of resuscitation. Well, I wasn't asking for mouth-to-mouth or anything of the sort. But I would have welcomed a more gentle awakening right about then, let me tell you. I shall have words with the offender personally. What did you see upon awakening? When I woke, Mystic Ame was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back.
Hold it!
By Mystic Ame, you are referring to the golden statue, correct? Just stabbing someone with the Shichimaru, a sacred treasure, is terrible enough. Would it take Mystic Ame to then make Mystic Ame hold the blade? Truly, a heinous, despicable crime. If you despise something, anyone can do it. However, there is something that cannot be done so easily. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's doubly hard for you. Anyway, what is the problem? Exactly why would the killer set up this gruesome scene? Can anyone explain the reasoning behind that? No, I don't think I can. There isn't always a logical reason behind why someone acts. That's true. So true. Early spring, for example, I often find myself... There isn't always... That phrase might come in handy someday. There isn't always. What? There are too many unnatural elements in this case. Why was it necessary to use the Shikishiluto from the Ame statue as a weapon? Why was this weapon ultimately placed back in the hand of the statue? When I expose the flaws in this testimony, perhaps then I will begin to find the truth. Only across the scene, the sword was already in place. The bent one was the one at Fey Manor, right? Yeah, but I thought they mentioned that this is the same statue. Because well, maybe they were talking about something else. Because they mentioned that when we went to the exhibit where they took all the Fey artifacts, I thought they had mentioned that this was the same statue that was there. Because there was a couple of other things that came from that exhibit that was brought to this temple. But maybe this is a different statue? It's definitely also a gold statue, or a gold colored statue, but maybe maybe the other one had iron? It's the same statue. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so it can't be a jade sword if it had a bend in it. Unless maybe they're just talking about the color. Maybe they just mean it's a jade colored sword. Maybe that's what it is? They're calling it the jade sword instead of like the blue sword or the red sword or something. It's the jade sword because it's green. Maybe it's a color reference and not a material reference. Since jade green is also a shade of green, right? Maybe that's what they're going for? And it's actually made out of metal? You have to remember this is a translation from a different language, so something might have been lost in the translation for this. When I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. On the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? When I woke, Mystic Ame was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. I'm feeling like the crime photo's the thing here. Because like right now the way it feels is this is all a cover to get a hold of Mystic Elise's Damas amethyst. I just don't know by who, unless it was literally Bikini who did it. Painting for a temple. Apparent murder weapon has the victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints on it. Mystic Fame, master of the crane technique. I think Swidow had been in the hospital if Maya hit him with a pure jade sword. I think he might be right that they just mean the color. Would have been in the hospital if Maya hit him with a pure jade sword. Did she hit him with a sword at one point? I don't remember that. I remember that the burglar guy got hit with a sword, or claimed to, or the detective claimed to get hit with a sword, and they showed it with a bend in it, but I don't know. I think that's the only explanation that makes sense, that this is the same sword that had a bend in it, and it's a jade sword because it's of its color, not what its material is. Otherwise, yeah, it doesn't make any sense that it had a bend in it. Jade is a hard stone. It would have cracked and broke. I woke Mystic Ame was standing in the back. Yeah, that's when I fainted. I've never seen so much blood before. Wait. Also, though, in this crime scene photo, there isn't that much blood. Like, there's a little bit of blood here and a little bit of blood here. There's not really that much blood. The way she's making it sound is like there's blood everywhere, but there's not really that much blood. Like, actually less blood than I think would be necessary to kill somebody. I mean, you need, I think it's 4 points. You need to lose 4 pints of blood to die. I think that's how it works out. Because I think you pass out at 3 and then die at 4. And that does not look like 4 pints of blood. I mean, on average. It's an average, of course. But there's some blood from the stab in the back. Saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt, smoothly drawn out. The instant in which the blade plunged to the hilt was smoothly drawn out. That's also impossible with this kind of sword. If this kind of sword was driven to the hilt... Oh, I wonder if it's the blood. There's no blood up here, so it couldn't have been up to the hilt. That's gotta be what it is, right? That's gotta be what it is? Because if the sword was driven all the way to the hilt, there would be blood up the whole length of it, not just on the bottom. Also, poor Phoenix always getting hit upside the head. Yeah, he gets hit a few times. And that goes all the way back to the beginning of the second module, where he gets hit in the head with that fire hydrant, so he forgets how to be a lawyer.
Objection!
Is it this? Nope, it's not that. Okay. I mean, that is clearly an objection to what she's saying here, and a contradiction, but... Place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. Saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Never seen so much blood. Maybe it's the other one, the crime scene photo?
Objection!
No, it's not the crime scene photo. I looked across the scene, the sword was already placed. I didn't actually see her stab her. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt, smoothly drawn out. But yeah, you're not going to smoothly draw this sword out of somebody if it's been driven to the hilt. It would be an extreme fight, especially if it's through the torso. There's a lot of bones and sinew in that part of the body that would completely bind up that sword as you try to pull it out. Blood. That's when I fainted. Can you blame me? I woke Mystic Ame was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. It wouldn't even go in smoothly. No, it would it would be a huge gash, just pouring blood out of it. There's no way that sword goes in smoothly and doesn't just make a horrific tear in the human body. What Mystic Ame was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. Because, I mean, that photo of the murder weapon is a direct contradiction to this. What else am I missing? Unless it's Mithril. Even Mithril will have a hard time with that. Yeah, there'd be blood everywhere. Yeah, that's not the kind of sword that goes in and out smoothly. Every one of these fins is going to catch with all these angles on it. It would be a horrific wound that would probably be even hard to... It would be hard to mend that wound, and with modern science, it would be so messed up if you push this through somebody. There's a reason it probably only got this far, is because whoever did this or whatever caused this probably didn't have enough force to go further than that. Human bodies aren't exactly the easiest thing to cut all the way through, it turns out. Especially with a sword this stupid looking. Like, this is not a combat sword. This is 100% a ceremonial sword. In the main hall, maybe she dropped it. So it's not the sword. It's not the murder scene. Loss of blood from stabbing back. Maybe it's the loss of blood. Wait. Maybe it's the loss of blood. When I looked at the cross of the scene, sword was already in place. So, because she would have had to die from blood loss and then fall. So the body would have already been dead by the time she saw her pulling the sword out. Sword was already in place. Is it this? No. Okay, so that's the third contradiction we have in this story already. Didn't actually see her stabbing with Elise. I saw in the switch of the blade plunge in the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Yeah, just the shape makes it going against impossible. Such a sword does exist in ROL, but it's 100% ceremonial. Oh yeah, that kind of sword does exist 100%, but it is 100% ceremonial. Agreed. Saw the instant in which the blade was plunged. I've never seen so much blood before. Is the contradiction here?
Objection!
For this? No. I hate that I have 3 contradictions and it's not accepting any of them. No, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. The only instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. We can prove that's not true. I've never seen so much mud before. We can prove that's not true. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mystic Ame was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. Could it be? Because I don't think I have anything that's like a personality trait thing that would need to handle this. Known age, Larry's teacher. Not familiar, who doesn't seem to have any spiritual power. Someone discovered the murder. Her bad back really bothers her. That's not gonna help. When I fainted, you can't blame me, can you? I've seen so much blood before. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're missing on this one. Saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. This seems like the obvious one, right? Plunge to the hilt, but we can see in this that the weapon doesn't show the blood all the way to the hilt. Unless maybe it's the crime scene photo?
Objection!
No, it's not that one either. Press on the third statement. Beanie says that Iris was meditating when she was arrested. Even her folded clothes were covered in blood. Press further, the nun will admit that she actually saw the sword being pulled out, and that's it. The statement will be added to the testimony. Saw the instant in which the blade plunged to the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Present the decision on that statement. You spot many contradictions on that statement. For the sword's 7 branches. I literally did that. It would be hard for someone at Iris's strength to actually plunge it within the... I did that. I did that 110% did that. That is literally the first thing I did was present the sword on that statement. That was literally the first thing I did. A minute now. I didn't actually see it. Okay, wait. Let's start. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3. I was meditating when she was arrested. Even her folded clothes was okay. All the blood was pulled out, and that's it. The statement will be added to the testimony. Saw the instant in which the blade plunged the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Yeah. Plunged to the hilt, and then why is the blood only on the tip of the sword? It was plunged to the hilt, and blood all the way through the... That was literally the first thing I did.
Objection!
What? No! No! That was the first thing I did! No! No! That was literally the first thing I did. No! This module... Maybe you misclicked? I had to have. That or this module is now actively trying to drive me insane. Oh my god. I literally did it on stream. You saw me do it. I said it multiple times that I tried that and it didn't work. Sister Bikini, are you a reliable witness? At least I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of those are complete impossibilities. Yes. I do like that they show the box that she's standing on. What do you mean? Please explain. Ow! Explain yourself. To start with, do you think it would be impossible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at it, the defendant, she doesn't appear to strong enough for that.
Objection!
Doesn't appear. What meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail. But I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I choose. The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit.
Objection!
That isn't the only issue here. If the sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It clearly wouldn't come out smoothly. But they also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in the body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. Yes! These are... I'm not wrong, right? We literally talked about all of this stuff. Am I gaslighting myself or something? The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding.
Objection!
That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with the shikamaru. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss.
Objection!
I'm not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got more? This one is simple. If this sword really was thrust all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No! Order, wow. Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence? All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. What does this all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one more answer. And that is, the weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shishimutu. What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardily foolish fool. There we go. We got the fool in there. I can examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Well, it's because Mystic Ame was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That it was influenced, that is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that this Shichimaru was the murder weapon. Order. Well, so maybe the Shimaru was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. No, she saw, at best, the defendant removing the sword from the victim, not stabbing her with it. You just instantaneously contradicted your witness. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? Huh? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was I was just over there? It was just over there? What exactly are you going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe... I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. You what? Okay. Well then, I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Possible. What else? What else could this old woman have seen? Location of the weapon. I saw the murder at around 11 p.m., and after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there, I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 50 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape, what with my back and my age, you know. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here is a photograph. A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. Tracks photo added to the court record. Taken that night from main gates to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Should you really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. Location of the weapon. So I checked the VOD. You presented the Shigeru on the wrong one and the crime scene photo on the right one, but I don't see why the crime scene photo shouldn't work for it too. I guess that must have been what it was. I was on the wrong slide then for the sword. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I give up. I give up trying to understand this module. I guess I just misclicked. Sister Bikini is trying the best she can. I guess so. Sister Bikini right now is so unbelievably suspicious. I'm partially convinced she's the one who murdered her and is trying to blame it on Iris so she can steal... Wait a second. Hold on. Wait. Oh, no, okay. All of them have the jewel. Wait. That's it. That's what it is. That's what it is. The necklace. Her necklace. Or this thing. This thing is an amethyst. It's purple, right? It's the same color as the thing that's missing from her staff. Did she kill her, blame it on Iris, and then put this in place of her fake one that she has on her hood? Because Iris wouldn't have been able to steal it because Phoenix had hers. Do you have an older picture of Bikini? No, I don't. We don't have anything like that, I don't think. Unless... Wait. No, this is kind of just the same. Yeah, no, that just looks the same. The newspaper? I don't know if she's in the newspaper one. Hold on, let me see. Well, she's wearing lipstick and, like, has exaggerated eyelashes in this for some reason. But no, they both have the neck piece. This orb here. It's just a quick guess. A quick guess that maybe that's what happened, is that the orb off of the staff got put on as someone's neck piece. It's a quick observational instant thought. I don't know. Oh, Colt! New Year's issue. Saw the murder at around 11 p.m.
Hold it!
You were sure about the time? Yes, I was worried about it after all. Why was that? Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. I act like it was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night now, could I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hazakura Temple. Your estimation of the time seems reliable, at least. Please continue, sister. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate.
Hold it!
You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct? Right. The one who trampled me. Seems she is the type to hold a grudge. There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge. Phoenix Wright? He didn't even have his cell phone on him? He had forgotten it at home, apparently. What a naive boy. Little double dots on a 1? Naive boy, as always. Or maybe Mystic Elise is a lich and the orb was her phylactery? That would be an insane twist, but what a way to go out with the final case. Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in my hand, too. Anyways, I was really scared. It was taking him a while to get back. So I thought I'd go by the main gate for a spell. So already died here, but she escaped by using the orb, which is why it's missing. Oh my god. If that turns out to be the case, oh, maybe she's evil and that's what happened to their mom, is Maya's mom was killed by her and like absorbed her body and soul or something? Oh my god, if that's the twist, that would be amazing. And there, I saw the tracks that indicate the snowmobile had been used.
Hold it!
As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited. Yeah. That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls. Now, you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived? Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate. So she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by the time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? Hold on. I want to look at something. So, presumably, these are Phoenix's footsteps. Does anybody else see the problem here with this? So I want to make sure I'm not the only one seeing this. Does anybody else see what the problem here with this scene is about this snowmobile? Don't lead to the snowmobile? Well, no, the footsteps aren't supposed to. The footsteps are supposed to lead to the phone. So these aren't supposed to go to the snowmobile. But no, that's also true. There's no footsteps that lead to the snowmobile. That's a good catch. But no, there's no trail for the snowmobile leaving. It's only the trail pulling up. They must have parkoured onto the fence. Yeah, that's what it was. They parkoured up here and then jumped down onto the snowmobile. Maybe what it is they figured they went on the stairs, even though there's no footprints there either, technically, from either of them, and then jumped onto it and didn't actually touch the snow, maybe? Or it's behind the snowmobile? But the snowmobile, if it left, it would have left a trail over here somewhere. And even if the trail going this way matched with this one on the way back, you would still have the trail of it leaving. Yet the only trail we have is it pulling into position. There's no trail from it leaving. Yeah, press further, please. I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at the time? Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, huh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? Playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used. Ah, I see. I never thought of that. That's right. I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness. I don't often go around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it. Snow? Yes, for some reason only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow. There wasn't any snow on it? Curses. It seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then. Eh? How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile? It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge. Less than 5 using one of those.
Hold it!
In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking. Huh? There's a reason for that. Have we got a moment for me to explain? I think that's why the question was asked in the first place. It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I'd fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch. Just like that. Crunch. Crunch? I haven't been able to find the courage to write anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it. Maybe they threw the weapon into the Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out?
Hold it!
Refresh your memory, how long were you knocked out for? Like I said, somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth? Yeah. Poor Bikini. Yeah, she's having a time. Presuming that she's not lying about all this and is actually secretly a killer, of course. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
Hold it!
While it would have been possible time-wise, one element remains out of place. Oh, and what would the mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all of this? Why go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there are other methods? Too many unanswered questions. Your response, Miss Von Carmel? Ah! Turning to me for help over the slightest thing. Why don't you think for yourself for once in a while, Your Honor? What? She's over the top as always. Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth. Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there surely is a problem with this testimony. Now all I can have to do is start poking holes in this flawed account. On the murder at around 11. After asking that it would be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there I saw tracks that indicate the snowmobile had been used. It takes 50 minutes to walk to Dusky Ridge in less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon in the Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile. Threw the weapon in the Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. I'm trying to think if there's any contradiction in the Eagle River thing. I don't think there is. It takes 50 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. And there, I saw tracks that indicate the snowmobile had been used. Again, I feel that there is an argument that this does not show that, but... And there I saw tracks that indicate the snowmobile had been used. Asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. Saw the murder at around 11 p.m. Well, you saw the body being handled at 11 p.m., not the murder. Because there's... Every bit of evidence we've presented so far has proven that she probably didn't actually see the murder. At worst, she saw the dead body out in the main area. After asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 50 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back when I was knocked out. Let me see... Yeah, I don't think there's an inherent contradiction on this map. We do know... Oh, no, that's on this side, isn't it? I was like, yeah, but I think there was a piece of land or dirt down here, but it's on the other side of the bridge. So... I don't think there's an inherent contradiction that they couldn't have driven over here and thrown... Also, I just realized that this photo is not showing this connected for some reason. Which is something I pointed out before, that when we were over here at the temple, this one didn't look like it was connected. Weird, but alright. So I don't think there's a contradiction there. The only really contradiction I can see in this is this bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. And there, I saw tracks that indicate the snowmobile had been used. Tracks that indicate the snowmobile had been used. Again, I don't feel like this is the case. Main gate to Dusky Bridge. From main gate to Dusky Bridge. Wait. Wait a second. They're over the top of these tracks, right? So wait, if these are Phoenix's tracks, this means that the snowmobile was used after Phoenix left, not before he left. There should have been another track right here. based on the distance he's stepping per step. That's got to be the contradiction? Hold on. I knew this picture looked all kinds of wrong. Hold on.
Objection!
I think, okay, no. Oh, wait. It's gotta be when she talks about sending him away with that photo. I'm asking him to be reported. I went to the main gate. Okay, wait. Okay, so here then?
Objection!
What? That's gotta be the contradiction. I just don't know how to present it. It's a long, it does get rich with less than. Because we even asked when we pressed about it, why didn't you use one of these? And she said she doesn't want to because she's scared.
Objection!
Maybe this isn't it. It seems like the perfect example of how to contradict it, but this photo might not be used until like the next go round of questioning. Threw the weapon in the Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Oh, maybe wait, maybe it's here?
Objection!
Yes, okay, that's what it is. It's the timing of while she was knocked out. Okay. I admit this photograph proves something. Proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? Oh, okay, well that too, we also talked about that. What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple through the weapon into the river and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge and those from coming back. Ah, you're right. You're forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. Huh? On the night of the murder, it was snowing. Tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradictions now, doesn't it? I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. Wow, that is some pinpoint snowing. What do you mean to say? What do you say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? I use that the snowfall covered one set of tracks? Well, what does the weather report say? Snow from 7 to 11, approximately 11. Start dinner at 10:45, around 3 minutes past the... I mean, if anything, it seems like the snow would have stopped before that. I'm gonna go with there is a contradiction. It feels like there's a contradiction in there. There is a contradiction. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Oh? Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the critter went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow, or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary. Evidence that outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Oh, it's gotta be the weather data. Has to be the weather data. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Of course, this means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It was the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. Weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11, the snow had already stopped falling. It's impossible for any of the tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Order, order. Very well then. Looks like Miss Von Karma's claims have been snowed in. What? Too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. What? That's evidence. What are you talking about? Answer me this then. When is the weather report ever correct? No. You got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast. This is actual data. Ah! Forecast data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. It's true, we cannot be totally sure. So you're saying... Okay, so you're saying that in the most specific of miracles, it snowed past when the weather data indicates, but only just enough to cover up the tracks going away, not coming back. Wow, that is some specific timing. What? She pulled that off. It has stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. Come this far, there's no turning back now. Very well. I too cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. Ha! Can't back down, can you, such perfectionist Miles Edgeworth? Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Oh, that's a good one. Hold on. Well, there's no snow on her body, so it had to have already stopped snowing. It's gotta be that, right?
Take that!
Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in the courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, by proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I'm referring to this photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception. And that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Damon. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. Grrr. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be two sets of tracks. Well, maybe it just started snowing again for only a minute, just enough to cover up the tracks, but not enough to cover up the body? What are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself. This is simply what all of these facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusty Bridge. It's not true, but alright. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. But why does this show it walking off into the distance if it's supposed to be going to the... Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There is only one key for the snowmobile. Huh? Furthermore, on the night of the question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Which should only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. Should probably press on this point somewhere more when I get the chance. Well, she went down to Heavenly Hall to see who was probably... She probably went to Heavenly Hall because of the notice, the letter she got, but... The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge. So she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right. But what's odd is when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see it. I didn't see anything near near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too. But that isn't possible. Order, order. Order in the court. What does this all mean? Narg. So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it hadn't been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. Never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes, I have nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know. But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out, walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. Unless they had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. Maybe, could it be Mr. Larry Butts, a.k.a. Lawrence... what's his name? Lawrence, Demus now? An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor. Actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are 2 things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, this individual that I am talking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edwards, who is this idiot you're talking about? Perfect. Okay, I'm fine with this. Who is the idiot you're talking about? It's gotta be Larry Butts. This guy must be a product of John Luke DeLuke's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim, Elise Demone. Her student? Interesting. And why was he wandering about outside of the night on the murder? That's... Tell them all about his designs for Iris, and it may cost us his credibility as a witness, or should I even call him? He is, after all, an artist. He was, perhaps, searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him, right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well, Larry. You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. I'm going to have 4 bailiffs hold you down while I question you. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. To be continued. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back, everybody. I'll be right back. Alright, I've returned. But before we start back up with the module, of course, it is time to enjoy another hyper sour picked plum Japanese snack. And I still can't tell which way is up or down on this because I don't know Japanese. Shout out at home. But don't comment on it because I can't fix it because this is in the past. And of course, we've got our crab meat. So much sour in such a little package. It's like my hatred for that stupid scene a second ago. This one wasn't as bad. This one was a little bit more mild compared to the one from Thursday. The one on Thursday hit really hard. This one wasn't too bad. There wasn't much jelly in this one. February 9th, 11:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 1. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say. Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are 2 things which I need to ask you before we reconvene. Alright, I'll help you any way I can. First, about that night. You really didn't go to the Inner Temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying. Mr. Edgeworth, it is as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple. Very well. The second thing, then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the time Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and she bore witness to the murder. Something between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile? There's only one key for the snowmobile. The only other person who could have used it was me. So it was you. But why? What made you go out to the Dusky Bridge? I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. We are literally doing a trial so you don't go to jail for murder. This is not the time. Iris, I can't tell you about that yet. Yet? Not until her safety is confirmed. Her? The safety of the Acolyte. The Acolyte, huh? You must be talking about Maya? Arius, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Demu? No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life. Okay. As I thought, no Psylocks. Very well. It's my job to get to the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. Maybe her own Magnetama necklace is blocking out ours on certain things? I don't know. Because we know she's already killed someone in the past. Unless they're literally going to play up the angle that there was like a lost twin sister or something. February 9th, 11:36 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 7. Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Conroe, where is the witness? During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery. Suspicious behavior? He was sketching something very intensely. Dare I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained? He drew a terrifying woman armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip. I can only presume that his intention was to... Ow! Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court. Lawrence Damieux, I hope you're ready. Get in here. It would seem the whip is going to see plenty more use today. Busted. Ouch! Your sketch is in contempt of this court. Hey, I was just an artistically rendering. Ouch! You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? Look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist training out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use the technical term for the color, viridian. Is viridian green? I thought viridian was like a green blue. Larry, this isn't an artist store, now is it? I know, I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? I presume he wanted to say field work, I hope. That's it. Thanks, buddy. It's kind of sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. Huh? So see, I've got nothing to do with this trial at all. I accept all of your faces to be red when you realize this mistake. Bright red. Or to use the technical term, crimson link. Ouch! Ow! Ouch! Ouch! Enough. Stop your pathetic babbling and testify like a man. Refrain from your whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Witness, that was all your fault. Testify, now. Wah. This is too much for me. What I saw. We haven't even asked him a question yet. I was at that lodge out in the mountains, looking up at the stars that night. One guess who his muse is? Well, I'm assuming he was watching... So it's kind of weird, right? I haven't figured out how the courtroom is laid out. It's very inconsistent. Sometimes the criminal, like the person who's on trial is in the courtroom, and sometimes they aren't. Also, who can be with the... Who is standing with the lawyers is kind of random sometimes too. So what knowledge is had by which people is kind of random. I don't know. It sounds like he doesn't like Von Karma very much. They change it every week. That would actually make sense. If the second week of every month who was allowed in the courtroom at any given time was changed, I would completely believe it. Unless his thing is now he's drawing the demonic Von Karma as opposed to like the lovely Iris or whatever. That would be an interesting twist on him. I would appreciate that as like weird character growth, that he's willing to draw a lady he doesn't actually like for once. So if it's Von Karma, I would actually appreciate that. Assuming it's not too weird. I was out at that lodge out in the mountains, looking up at the stars that night. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. What? Hold on. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Aren't I, Edgy? Wow. Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyer during your testimony. I'm just a nobody, nothing but a small, worthless man, aren't I? And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation, or anything else? Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. Yeah, that's right, I'm behind everything, every case. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy. He'll tell you eventually? Alright. Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination with no touching. Thank you. We can delve into other details at a later time. What I saw. Sorry, I was thinking of another case I saw a video for. It was just a woman running a red light. And she tried to prove in court that she didn't run the red light by showing a photo of her brake lights on at the light she ran through. But then the officer showed a security cam footage of that same scene, and if you and she literally went through and chose the one moment that her brake lights were on. The rest of it is her just pulling up and basically just going right through the red light. So just the judge being like, yeah, all right, no one touch him. He's an idiot. Just it procked this weird scene from this other court case I've seen. What I saw. I was at that lodge out in the mountains looking up at the stars that night.
Hold it!
Do you have a time for any of this? Whatever is the matter, Mr. Edgeworth. This one single statement is so full of contradictions. For a moment there, I thought I was going to collapse. Why not just stop? Seems like too much work. I don't know. I don't know the rest of the case. It was just a little snippet from that case. But she was just trying to get out of paying the red light running ticket. So she got a photo of the one moment her brake lights were on during her pulling through the red light. I don't know. People are weird. I guess she thought she could get away with it and they weren't going to have any evidence other than the officer's testimony about it. I don't know. So, witness, any idea as to where these contradictions in your testimony lie? Depending on your answer, I may stay my whip. Okay, give me a minute. Well, it was snowing that night, so I couldn't possibly have seen the stars. That rundown shack is hardly a lodge, is it? And even if the stars could be seen, it isn't like I was there to look at them, right? See? You can do it if you try. What is this? Ouch! There's only one issue here. What you saw at Dusky Bridge. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but...
Hold it!
A number of times? How many? Maybe 5 times? I went once every 20 minutes. Which means... You spent almost 2 hours at Heavenly Hall that night? You bet! Real love is about waiting with your heart in your hands. Love, you say? It was the man's intention to summon the defendant to the small shack, using this blackmail letter. Blackmail? No. That was simply a product of overflowing love. Ah! You huffy puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness. Wow, what a sentence. So what did you see? I hope for your sake you saw a snowmobile. You huffy puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness. See, this kind of stuff I like. It's just all the other nonsense I have with this module that drives me up the wall. Well, you see, being called those names doesn't seem to bother him at all. I didn't see a snowmobile. That's so... Like, the timing on that has got to be the best writing I've seen in this whole thing so far. It's just the judge being like, I hope you saw a snowmobile. And then the next line being, I didn't see a snowmobile. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. That was like, that's easily the best setup I think I've seen in this whole thing. Oh, God. I think she's hilarious. Oh, I mean, I get her puns and all that stuff. It's not my kind of humor, but I can understand why other people really like it. And sometimes I even enjoy it. It's so wacky and over the top, I can't not laugh at it. Especially when she whips annoying people. She just whips everybody. Annoying isn't even a relevant, like, isn't a requirement. It's just anybody gets the whipping sometimes. Larry, you really didn't see it. Hey, no need to hit your desk. I can hear you. I didn't see it. I didn't see a snowmobile. Larry, say snowmobile for me, please. Snowmobile? If you truly have nothing to hide, then why are you stammering like you just flew over a cuckoo's nest? Shut up. What is this? I don't know. Don't ask me. Seems that I'll need to start from a more obvious contradiction. I'm going to strike the blow that will finally get him to spill the beans. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. It's still funny. I mean, it can be.
Hold it!
You didn't meet anyone. That's right, because I've got nothing to do with this. I'm just here to buy some Viridian paint, okay? Come on, I expect to see those Crimson Lake faces now. It would appear that simply pressing him isn't going to be enough, Mr. Edgeworth. Indeed. Seems that he's going to claim to have nothing to do with this till the end. I don't want this guy to cost us any more time. I need to slice through his obvious contradictions and keep things moving along. There's the lodge out in the mountains looking up at the stars that night. I guess, like, weather report him on that? like they said, there's so many contradictions. I walked to the bridge a number of times. I didn't see a snowmobile. Do you even know what a snowmobile is? I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. Okay, that's contradicted by multiple people. What are you talking about? Okay, there's so many contradictions, I don't know where to start. Ugh. Okay. So, like, do I need to weather report him, or Your Honor? Okay, so I don't need to hit him with the weather report. Walked to the bridge a number of times. I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anything in the night of the bridge. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. Okay, so... Lost blood from a stab in the back.
Oh, yeah! I'm sure that'll hold up in court.
Welcome, Zet770. Swiss Cheese is proud of his testimony? Yeah. So full of holes you don't even know where to start to contradict him. Iris's testimony. Maybe it's the blackmail letter? I don't see anyone at the bridge that night either. To the bridge and no.
Cheese.
Ika, Cheese has been summoned. I was at the lodge out in the mountains looking up at the stars that night. Walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile.
Behold the power of cheese.
Man went to the moon because man thought the moon was made of cheese. Once we got there, we realized it was not cheese, and we haven't been back since. God, that was a weird commercial. I'll give it to the Cheese Foundation or whatever, that they have some pretty good commercials. I see an obvious one. I don't see anyone at that bridge that night either. I mean, that's also a contradiction because we had multiple people talking about going to and coming from the bridge, but... I'm just not sure what the contradiction, like how to prove that contradiction. It was in her room. Because she doesn't mention, discover the murder her... Unless this is the contradiction, like... Temple doesn't seem to have any spiritual power.
Objection!
Is it her is the contradiction? I don't know which thing is the contradiction. There's so many. Didn't he talk to one of these people? Well, he was waiting on Iris to show up to talk with her because of the blackmail letter. What? More cheese. Because of the blackmail letter. But I don't know where we have a contradiction of him talking to anybody. Because the bikini nun, Miss Nun, the bikini Miss Nun or whatever, the nun Miss Bikini didn't mention seeing him and any of her stuff. Was in their room until the murder was discovered. Still freaks me out that she has like lipstick and eyelashes in this version. But who did he actually speak to? That night? Did he talk to somebody? Because I don't think... I don't know who he spoke to. Unless it was like Phoenix or something. Unless that's what you're talking about. Is he talking about when he talked to Phoenix right before Phoenix ran onto the bridge and then fell into the river? Is that what you're talking about? Maybe that's... Is that the contradiction?
Objection!
Oh, that's the contradiction. I thought they were talking about before the murder. But they meant at all that whole night. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Larry Butts, I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic and you cause all sorts of trouble. I'm sorry. But having realized just how much of a nuisance you have been, that could be considered a step in the right direction. Edgy, are you trying to console me? Certainly doesn't sound that way to me. However... Yep, okay, I guess so.
Bollocks.
What? I mean, kind of, but... However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create. Oh, you're totally pinning this on me. Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Scissor Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he had headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butts. That's right. Me in the flesh. Listen carefully, witness. It doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidences. The reality will not change. But what do you want me to do, then? Larry, what you need to change is your inner self. But for now, what you saw that night...
Did you see that jerk? I dropped his...
Thank you, Homer. Testifying truthfully about this one issue is all I need from you. Edgy, I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this'll go especially well. I'll ask you again then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder? What I saw, part 2. AKA revising my whole testimony. I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been about 10:30. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me.
Okay!
Thank you, Little John? Yes, Little John. Okay, thank you, Little John. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick. At 10:30? What? That's impossible. Certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you? So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire? It was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. It totally burnt out. Like, almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross the burning remains was what caused Nick to fall. What did you say?
loony.
Oh, don't worry. It's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold. Loony. I never knew with that man if he should be called lucky or unlucky. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination. You were the luckiest unlucky man I know, Phoenix Wright. When I saw part 2. I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around 10:30.
Hold it!
What did you do out there in the cold for an hour and a half? Well, if you really must know, I was busy being excited, I guess. Excited? Dare I even ask? I set the meeting time as 10 p.m., right? But I couldn't wait. And I thought she might come early, too. Well, it appears she didn't come at all, in the end. Because they never arranged to meet in the first place, did they? Shut up! I'm go picking my fond memories apart. Anyway, I was getting a little worried. I thought maybe Iris had lost her way. So every 20 minutes or so, I went out to the bridge. But I didn't see anything particularly suspicious. I didn't have anything else to do, so I went back to the shack to wait for her. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me.
Hold it!
This light was, of course, lightning? Like, kapow? Like a slap from Naomi. Honestly, a big bada boom. Ah. Oh, a little like that? That's more like a punch from Miranda. Witness, did you actually see the lightning hit the bridge? Well, I was a bit startled by the flash of light, so... I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire.
Hold it!
Seeing that, what did you do? What do you think? I was burning up as well from the fire in my heart. And that's why you went to take a look at the bridge? Well, to be honest, it was freezing cold, so at first I thought, forget it, I'm never leaving my covers. But it had pretty much stopped snowing, so I don't know, I changed my mind. I'm not sure I care for the forget it attitude you had at first, Witness. He's certainly something. What that something is, your guess is as good as mine. Larry Butts is quite the something. Or Phoenix is quite... I mean, Phoenix is definitely the luckiest unlucky guy there is. But Larry Butts is just an unknown at this point. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that? The lightning fell, and then the bridge caught on fire maybe around 5 minutes? I mean, I suddenly thought, gotta go check this out. How far is this small shack you were in from the bridge? Hold on. Well, it had pretty much stopped snowing. I guess about 5-minute walk? And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there? Like I'd recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfire kids make during school camping trips can compare. Well, should I press him for a little more info? Why did you go to the bridge? Not right now. Why didn't you call anyone? Why didn't you call anybody? Larry, let me ask you one thing. What is it, Edgy? What's with the serious face? Why didn't you call anyone? Huh? What do you mean? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try and tell someone? There's a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, of course I thought of doing that. So then, let's hear why you didn't. I can smell the failure. Oh my god. Huh? Yeah, okay, a reason. My reason. It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone, I just didn't have time to, okay? I arrived at the bridge, and Nick showed up less than a minute later.
Hold it!
You claim to have arrived at the bridge at the same time as Wright? Yeah.
Failure is your destiny. You disrespect yourself and your nation. You are made of stupid.
Wow, what a line. I thought I'd better tell someone about this, but then Nick came up yelling about murder. It totally made me forget about the bridge. The fire was pretty much out by then anyway. What's this feeling? I suddenly have a terrible case of unease. It was after contacting the police that Phoenix Wright fell from the bridge, correct? Yeah, that's pretty much it. More or less. Told me about the burning bridge yesterday. There's still something that doesn't quite fit. The timing? It looks like, despite his change of heart, Larry still isn't telling us the whole truth. I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around about 10:30. Okay, so this timing doesn't line up at all. Because, so, Nun Bikini is saying that the murder would have taken place at like around 11. But he says that Phoenix showed up at about 10:35, 10:40, saying there was a murder. That's a 20-minute difference. That's pretty significant. I don't understand how it is still continuing to look like Miss Bikini had something to do with this murder. It's looking more and more like Bikini committed this murder for some reason. I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around 10:30 p.m. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. I arrived at the bridge and Nick showed up less than a minute later. Wait, doesn't it mention... pass between the fire starting and going out? Okay, yeah, here's the contradiction right here. It's the weather report. I don't know where I'm gonna need to present the weather report, but it's clearly the contradiction. That's gonna fix our timeline problem pretty good. I was lying on my... and Dusky Bridge was on fire.
Sorry, I farted.
Well, thank you for letting us know that fat person whose mother is not married to their father.
Objection!
This? Okay, so it's not here. Maybe it is that first statement? Oops. Okay. Oh, no, hold on. Got ahead of myself. Other data? No. Sorry, I'm just hearing a weird noise. I wasn't sure what it is. When the shack around 10:30, I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder and I went right away to check it out. I arrived at the bridge and Nick showed up less than a minute later. So the contradiction has to be the lightning strike report.
Objection!
Okay, it's right here. Okay. Your very existence being a contradiction. I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. What the hey, Edgy? You make me sound like some sort of alien. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. I've never been the best at timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Terrible at those. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what happened. Is this correct? Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45. You say it took less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge? Meaning you probably got there at around 11. That all sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his falling act. That is impossible. What do you mean? 11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in Hazakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there, in the courtyard. There's no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time. Excuse me, I have an objection. You do? Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry. I'm Lawrence. It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The decision only said around 11. In which case, it could have been earlier than that.
Nothing like the first cup of dumpster juice in the morning.
I don't know what Zoidboard has to do with this, but alright. Watch your footing there, Miss Francesca Von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery. But there is still no way that Wright could have been at Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m. And why not? It's clearly written here in the weather report data. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15. Which means, what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames that night. In fact, he did not arrive on the scene until the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11. But Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I suggest you stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now, then. It's all coming together. What happened during those missing 15 minutes? I feel like I just got brutally woken up by toilet splashback. Ugh, gross. Do not talk about that. I guess I was still sleeping after all. Order. Oh. So there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright. I hardly see that as much of a problem. Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes, and there is a phone right next to it. Why, then, did you not report the accident? Yes, witness, why didn't you? Were you there simply to watch the bridge burn? And therein lies the problem. For even after the bridge had burnt out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness didn't even attempt to fulfill his civic duty. That's what it sounds like. Ah, but this is Larry we were talking about, and even he is incapable of being so stupid. Which means that he has to be a reason for his inaction. Edgy? I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. What is happening? There's always a problem with Larry? Yeah, it's never simple when it comes to Larry stuff. Just as I thought, you've been playing with us all this time. Listen, I'm going to tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Yes? I may really say it this time. Ah! Then say it. Very well, I have a terribly bad feeling about this, however. Let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. Now, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness? The missing 15 minutes. I'm a Duamon. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out, and then he came running up. I suppose artists can be strange folks. That's right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch. Including the truth from the sound of it. Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts? Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains. And what would that mean? This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him. Ha 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 ha. You'll regret this, Edgy. Wow, it's kind of threatening, eh? The missing 15 minutes, let's cross-examine this. Just spit it out, Larry. Seriously, I don't understand why he's making this so complicated. Just tell us what happened. What could you possibly be protecting at this point? Dumon, I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? That's a great question. How about you show us the picture or the painting you made? Tell us, Larry. My name is Lawrence. Get it right. Mistakes like this are what keep you from being popular with the ladies like I am. Just who exactly are you? I'm Lawrence Dumon, apprentice extraordinaire. That's what he calls himself in any case. Then you are an artist? Of course I'm an artist, the real thing. Yet again, that's what he calls himself. Names mean nothing. There's only one issue I care to discuss. What were you doing? It's a very big issue indeed. He's always too protective of his secrets, even when it's nothing. That's true. We had to like hyper investigate him back when it was turned out it was absolutely nothing. Like him painting the side of the wall was a 3 psyche lock thing that we had to deal with. Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into an art frenzy.
Hold it!
Sketching the burning bridge. The burning bridge and everything that came with it. What? Came with it? You want to hear this from my lips, do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. The sketch of mine is... enough. Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours out already, witness. What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth. What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling that the instant this sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. Oh my god. Tell me it's gonna turn out to be like a semi-lewd painting of Mrs. Bikini. Look at the sketch. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch. Well, even if I couldn't have imagined it turn out like this, imagine what? That Lawrence Demue's debut would take place here today, like this. Ow! Show it, now! Okay, but steel yourselves. This is the world of Lawrence Demue.
Son of a bitch!
What? Well, so this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma? Yes, well, it's a better drawing than I expected. But why is it from the side? Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those flames. I really did. Yes, I'm sure you did. Rocket Man. Son of a Mitch. Nerd. This is going to get ugly. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object. Larry. What? The burning bridge is fine. But, what is that unfortunate looking figure? Ah, you spotted that. I thought you might. However much I might want to ignore it, I can't. It's Iris, of course. Iris! I wish she'd take the better care of herself. We have to plan our future, you know. But what would have happened to her if she had injured herself flying like that? Larry, please, answer this next question honestly. Okay. Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames? Yep, that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist, a real artist. Are you high? I didn't think they would go there. That's awesome. Okay. The girl, she really high up in the the girl. She's
looks
really
like
high
he
up in
may
this
commit
picture.
suicide. Suicide is badass.
No.
You're a wizard, Harry. It's always sunny. Oh, God. Uh-huh. Oh, what was that for? This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory. Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your own wild theories. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that the people can fly. Actually, there is some precedence for this. She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge, at least. It was really something to see. This has to be some kind of mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth. What? Me? This witness is your friend, is he not? Accessory to foolishness. Miles Edgeworth. Let us get back to the cross-examination by force if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here. Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what do you think of my debut piece? Get that thing away from me. Larry's sketch added to the court record. Horrible sketch of what he saw the night of the crime. Okay, hold on. Now, hurry up and cross-examine him. Hold on. Oh, okay, so he was standing here looking at the bridge. That would explain why there's the 2 support ropes coming in. But he was found here. So if he was sketching what he saw that night, it would have been from this angle, right? Huh. Because here's the support memes, and he's in the middle of them, and they're kind of above him. So it's got to be from down from Heaven's Hall below. What is the flying iris got to be, though? I can't imagine we're going to be involving ghosts in this. Unless literally it was like a ghost going over to where Maya was at doing her training or something. Now hurry up and cross-examine him. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge, I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. Saw Iris flying, her white hood fluttering. Oh, that's what you added to this? The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out and he came running up. So I was flying. Hold on. Just where did you see this site from? Hey, no need to shout. When I was laying in bed in that rundown shack, the crack of the lightning bolt made me realize that the bridge was burning. I just watched it for a while from there, thinking how nicely it was burning. Then after about 5 minutes, I saw it. The defendant flying? That's right. That's when I decided to go to the bridge. I see, that all makes sense. Aside from the sketch itself. Yes, this sketch doesn't make any sense. I just need to convince the artist that his work is ludicrous. Oh my god, it's upside down because that's how he saw it. The shock and awe I was feeling, oh my god. It's upside down. He was looking upside down. These support beams should be on the bottom. And he didn't see her flying above the bridge. He saw her falling below the bridge.
Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Phil?
It's Phil? Okay. I was confused there. So yes, this picture is upside down. He saw a body falling down, but because he was looking at it upside down from where he was laying, it looked like someone was above the bridge, but when actually they were below the bridge. Still doesn't make a lot of sense, but I know how the contradiction works. I mean, yeah, technically. I saw Iris, her white hood fluttering. Okay, we know that's not true because she didn't have her white hood. This is an insane case, team. It just keeps getting weirder. Okay, we know the contradiction is this. Okay, good. Thank you. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care. In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I drew exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole $1 that it's the truth. If that is truly the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain. What might that be? That this person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant Iris. What? What do you mean? I don't understand. A foolhardily folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolishly foolhardy fool. How exactly can you make this claim? Tell us, Larry. According to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw was wearing a hood, correct? Of course she was. The rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. That is what told me that the floating angel was my Iris. That is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood. What? Wow! Seems there are bigger fools out in the world than the one at the fences bench. Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She had given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps suggest it was Wright who took flight? What are you talking about? I think you understand what I mean just fine. Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood? What? Edgy, what's going on with Iris and Nick? Why, you Nick, you dog. I would be held in contempt of court because I would punch Larry at this point. I would, if I was Edgeworth, I would be held in contempt of court for punching Larry. I do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited and discarded straight into the garbage. Ha. Ha 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 ha. Ow. What is it now, witness? Yeah. If you were the Celtigeist. Oh man, the amount of screaming I would do if I was Phoenix in most of these cases. It feels like I've been waiting for 25 years for this very day to come. Edgy, today is the day I get to completely stupefy you. What? What is the meaning of your outburst, witness? I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence. Definitive evidence. I'm gonna stomp a mud hole in him and walk it dry. At this point, I think the judge would only be mad because he wanted to go first. You're not wrong. I just got there faster because it's hard for the judge to get down from up on his podium or whatever. Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge. And I, Lawrence Demus, shall prove it. I didn't expect to ask this again, but we shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in this sketch, and show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy. Because I'm going to feed you a whopping serving of pain. You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time. Trust me. Proof that Iris flew. Oh yeah, we give him some punches, some kicks. Slam him on the ground, give him a couple of boots. Proof that Iris flew. When I reached Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led to me finding a beautiful crystal sphere. What? That led to me finding a beautiful crystal sphere half buried in the snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost the crystal sphere that night. He's literally holding a crystal sphere covered in blood, potentially. This case is insanity. A crystal sphere. This one. Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers. That sphere. Where did you find it?
Hasta la vista, baby.
Little baby Terminator. Let me see. Around here somewhere? Looks about right. And it was half buried in the snow. It had pretty much stopped snowing by then. But there was still some falling as I walked to the bridge. The court accepts this crystal sphere. That's mine, okay? I want it back afterwards. That is... There's something on it. Huh? Oh my, it's blood. What? Blood? Crystal sphere added to the court record. Found half covered in snow near Dusky Bridge the night of the crime. Has blood on it. It's the missing crystal sphere from Alyssa's staff, or whatever. You ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's going to push me around anymore. Didn't you want to be known, called Lawrence DeMoe, only a few minutes ago? Proof that Iris flew. When I reached Dusky Bridge, she was already gone.
Hold it!
So you went to the burning bridge? That's right, to meet Iris. She actually flew to get to me. The last I could do, the least I could do was meet her halfway.
I will murder you violently.
Larry? Yeah. Larry, The mods got that one. Can you allow that? If you're not busy. I will murder you violently was picked up by the mods. I can't imagine why the mods would be upset about that. The bots were not happy. The mod bots were not happy about I will murder you violently in that description. Thank you. But the defendant was not at the bridge when you got there, you say. I guess she went back to the Hazakura temple? She's a girl, after all. She must have wanted to look her best. It must be lovely to live in the fantasy land of Larry's mind. Actually, it's so depressing that I can't even work up the energy to point. So, what did you do next? I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her.
Hold it!
So you searched all over for her? She was flying pretty high, you know. I thought maybe she slipped on her landing and got hurt. Hey, it was more than possible. Also, when I headed out to the shack the first time, I was snacking on a banana. I was pretty sure I threw the peel away somewhere around there, so, you know. I think that's a reference to the fact that Gumshoe fell a couple of times going down the path. Can one guy really be this stupid? So did you find any signs of her so-called landing? I don't really remember. I kept on falling over myself and kind of lost it for a while there. You fell over yourself? Yeah, the snow was deep and there was even a banana peel out there. Yep, they're stupid. And then there's Larry Butts. Oh my god. The short of it is that you didn't find any sign of her landing, correct? Then what happened next? That led to me finding a beautiful crystal sphere half buried in the snow.
Hold it!
Half buried? It was sitting in the snow with a little gap. Wait.
You shouldn't have been standing there.
That's true. It was sitting in the snow with a little gathered on top of it. Oh, with a little snow gathered on top of it. Okay. Happy Gill. Oh, Happy Gilmore. Gotcha. It was very hard to spot, actually. I mean, it was dark out, too. I'm impressed. You did well to find it. No matter what you may think when you look at me, I'm a pro. A genius security guard. I used a pen light I borrowed from my company to help me in my search. And it sparkled really brightly, as if it was saying, "Here I am," to me.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
It does indeed look very much like the crystal sphere on Iris's hood. But it's actually the crystal sphere from the staff, which I called earlier, but I thought it was going to be more relevant to the direct murder. Blazing Saddles. Oh, that's what that's from. I've heard that before, but I didn't know what movie that was from. I haven't seen Blazing Saddles since I was like 15 years old. Oh my god. It does indeed look very much like the crystal sphere on Iris's hood. But need I remind you that she was not wearing her hood that night? I'm sure that Iris is simply wearing a spare hood.
Hold it!
Each nun is assigned their own hood, and they are assigned only one. I don't know anything about that, okay? And Iris is special, alright, dude? Even if she did steal a spare hood, I'll forgive her. This is getting us nowhere. Our destination for the day, it seems. However, this crystal sphere was found near the bridge. That is a fact. If it didn't come from a hood, where could it have come from? That is the question I am aimed to answer. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere then.
Hold it!
Let me confirm this one last time, Larry. The reason you thought that this was Iris are the hood and this crystal sphere, correct? That's right, my gut is never wrong. I met that old bikini the next morning, and her crystal sphere was still there, safe and sound. Indeed. He was wearing it in this very room earlier today. This case isn't going to end without a fight. Exposing the obvious contradictions in this testimony will be easy. But I fear that all that awaits us are further mysteries. When I reached the Dusky Bridge, she was already gone, so no matter if we searched all over for it, and then led to me finding a beautiful crystal sphere. And then it was a very sphere. I don't know who else could have lost a crystal. Okay. So the contradiction is either going to be the staff itself, or it's going to be the portrait, the profile of Elise. I'm going to try the staff here.
Objection!
Okay, we got it. All right. Larry, that night, there was someone who lost a crystal sphere. There was? Who? Who was this stupid idiot? Miss Elise DeMont, the mentor to a stupid idiot. The victim? I have a photo of her here. And on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. Hey, that's my photograph. Give it back. Ouch! A crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch. What? Oh, okay, he's calling it out. All right. They look nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff found at the scene of the crime. Ah, the crystal sphere. It's gone. What? What? Just what does this mean? If anyone jumped or flew across that bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris, after all. She was not wearing her hood. More importantly, the crystal sphere found at the landing site was not hers either. That means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise DeMont. A fool alongside another fool on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, this sketch, which I prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected. You can't do that. I saw it with my own two eyes. And this crystal sphere, this is nothing more than a red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought, and I'm sure you'll realize it as well, Miss Miles Edgeworth. Elise DeMont was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to this case. That is all. You might want to maybe taste... You might want to test the blood that's on this before you start making big claims, Von Karma. Miss Francesca Von Karma. The only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Why are you pointing at me? Taste the ball? I'm sorry, I'm very frustrated. The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. Yet you expect us to believe that this has nothing to do with the case? That crystal sphere was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder. After the murder? There's blood on the crystal sphere, isn't there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. The killer placed it there to throw the investigation off the scent. For the exact same reason that he drew that ridiculous sketch. What? You mean I'm the killer? Oh, no way. Eat it. Absorb the power of the phylactery. That would be a weird way to do it. You can do it. All joking aside, just when did this crystal sphere appear near the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe this is related to the case. What? She makes a valid point. There is no evidence that Elise DeMont left Hazakura Temple that night. However, if somehow this crystal sphere can be proven to have dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? I want your final opinion on the disposition of
As long as it gets its taste.
Its taste. If it's not related to the case, then this witness who you call it will have been nothing more than a momentary waste of time. A monumental waste of time. Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth. Can I prove it? Hold on. I can probably prove it, but I just don't know how yet. Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? Well, if Larry found it, it would have had to have been, right? Yes, I can? Can I prove it? This isn't the issue. Simply prove it. That's the only option. That's what he'd do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do this. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case. You will do that? Now look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he is cornered. That should come as no surprise, because right now I am Phoenix Wright and I am indeed cornered. I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Evidence that proves that the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. Oh, okay. This is gonna be one of those ones that's gonna be absolutely insane. Okay. Found half covered in snow near Dusky Bridge the night of the crime. Has blood on it. Tracks photo. Crime photo. Ring lights out balance 10. Staff gone. I mean, that seems like the obvious one, but I feel like it's going to be more complex than that. Like, that seems too simple. I feel like they want something really outlandish here. Weather data. Occasional lightning strikes. 1050. Because he said he found it under a little bit of snow. So the weather report proves that it was there. Lurk? Okay, lurk away. So the staff seems like the obvious one. But the weather report also feels like it could prove it because it was found under the snow. Because he said there was a little bit of snow on top of it too. Which implies it fell while it was still snowing, which he said it was a little bit when he was walking up to the bridge. I'm gonna try this first, and then we can try the staff.
Take that!
Your response, Miss Von Karma? Birds of a feather flock together. Are you familiar with this phrase? How's Edgeworth? Think one such bird is calling for its fellow follow now. Go, Edgy, do it, prove it. Win, win, win. Hearing, it's as though I'm listening to the ominous. Oh, okay, it wasn't that one. So we'll try the staff then. That's the one that seems the obvious answer, but too obvious. Alright, allow me to prove something to you. Listeners, why don't we link in this case? We'll do that. Your eyes, blah blah blah. Your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. This bear was indeed.
Take that!
Try this. Your response? Nope, not that one. Unless this is going to be one of the rare ones where I can't prove it. No matter how unlucky, it's not possible. It's certainly strange that the crystal sphere was found near the bridge. Perhaps it's just a curveball for the killer. Oh well, Miss Alger seems nothing further to say. And then I'm left with no choice. Hold it. What is this? Hey, Edgy, you're a defense attorney, aren't you? It was Nick standing where you are right now. Huh? It was Nick? Do you think he'd give up? No, he'd find the truth, no matter what it took, no matter how crazy it seemed. Right? At this moment, I'm standing where you should be. Which means there's only one thing to do. Think like you. Your Honor, allow me to prove something. I'll prove that this crystal... Wow, okay, so it doesn't matter if you choose you can or you can't. You have to. Represent... Okay. It proves that the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. So it's not the staff, and it's not the weather report. What else could it be? We know the incident of Larry's teacher. Discovered the murder. Her bad back really bothers her. A nun from Hazakura Temple doesn't seem to have any spiritual power. Okay, I don't remember how we became friends, though. Wait, what does this actually say? Oh, it just shows them. Again, I'm really confused with the eyelashes and the lipstick on this. I mean, maybe she got dressed up for the photo or something, but... Because this picture, I don't think was taken at the temple, because I don't think this is the temple in the background. Iris' testimony. Was a blood from back in the back. Body fell 10 feet after death. 10 or 11 p.m. I guess the book missing? The book missing. No, I can't present the book. I don't even have that as an option, so I don't think that would be it. You're talking about from the photo? You're talking about this book? Yeah, I can't. The book isn't any kind of evidence I can present, so I don't think that would be it. Yeah, I don't think that would be it because I can't present that as evidence. Like, I'm halfway tempted to do like doesn't seem to have any spiritual power thing. I'm halfway tempted to choose her because of that alone. Okay, it's not that. Unless it's the blackmail letter? Wait, could it be the blackmail letter? Hold on. Main hall, maybe. Okay. Oh, make sure you come unless you want your secret to be exposed. No. Evidence that proves that the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. It's not the weather report, and it's not the staff. Victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints on it. Like I said, this was going to be a really, really crazy one, and I didn't know where they were going with this. Half covered in snow. Near Dusky Bridge, the night of the crime. There's blood on it. Half covered in snow. Does the sphere? Is it the sphere? If it's found half covered in snow, that means it must have been dropped before it stopped snowing. Or it must have been dropped while it was still snowing. Because she didn't have it? Like,
Take that!
oh, okay, I was right. It was the crystal sphere. Okay. This crystal sphere, it was half buried in the snow, correct? That's right. If I hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been module over. The snow would have totally covered it. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear. What? When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it even was so slightly. Snowing? On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body. Ah. Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder. What? Alright, so it should have also worked with the weather report, but they specifically wanted the sphere. Alright. My thought process was correct. I just used the wrong piece of evidence. That's annoying. Order. On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge, and there, something occurred that caused the staff's crystal sphere to come loose. What? What could that have been? This sphere, there is some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this juncture. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge. The murder didn't take place in the Hazakura Temple courtyard? Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness. Just who is this fool, and which part is so foolish, Miss Von Carmel? Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? The sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. No. She saw her attempting to pull out a blade out of the body. She even said that herself.
Objection!
That's not exactly true, now is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. That's the same thing. No, it isn't. You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding. You're forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edgeworth. Elisa DeMo's body was found in Hazakura Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple. You mean to suggest someone carried the body all that way? I made it this far. The only place that I can take this is to the end. I mean, the music's good. I'll give them that much. Oh, it's already after 6. I made it this far. There's only place to take this is to the end. I just need to prove that my version of the events is also perfectly plausible. Now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hazakura Temple. I'm assuming it's got to be the snowmobile, right? The tracks leading back from the bridge was where the body was, her body was at, right? That would make sense to me. And that's why it's returning and there was no going to. Is they came back after the snow had stopped, but before the murder? Or when the body was discovered, I should say.
Take that!
Tracks? On that snowy night, there is one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could also have been used to carry a body. I like it. Order. Ah! This is completely unacceptable, Miss Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? The only one who could have used the snowmobile was the defendant. She's the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put the final nail in your coffin? You're too late, Francesca Von Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim, Elise Damone, really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally, just what does this image mean? You even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it.
Objection!
This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he is enamored. He drew this, so it is something that actually happened. The defense stands firm on this point. Edgy, thank you. That settles it, then. I cannot give a verdict under these circumstances. Grr. Grr. Right? I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It's just as I thought. Francesca von Karma, you make a wonderful partner. Excuse me? There's one reason and one alone for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case, and then pass it on to Wright. Really? That's what this was all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. Then I wouldn't have had Francesca whipping on— Ow! Miles Edgeworth. I don't care about what you were here to do. This is my chance to finally grind you under my heel. A shame that your chances seems to have slipped you by. What a shame. Ow! This is all your fault. Such a terrible witness. You're an affront to all the legal systems for— Ow! 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 I demand satisfaction. Ow. Wow, I think she whipped him unconscious. That's gotta be some kind of assault, but alright. I cannot believe that the witness's testimony relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answer for the questions it raises. Have his words here today been the truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I'm counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and the prosecution. And with this, the rest is up to you, Wright? Court is now adjourned. Wow. That's a perfect place to call it, too. Dang. So I guess we go back to playing as Phoenix tomorrow. Or the next time we play this. Tomorrow in the module, but the next time we play this next week. I'm wondering if they're gonna bring Maya back. Okay. If they're gonna bring Maya back, or if she's gonna stay gone until the end of it. I could see them bringing Phoenix back, and then also Hottie Clinic Intensive Care Unit. We have to deal with that idiot creepo. I hate that creepy guy. There is no reason for him to keep returning. Return to the title. Any unsaved progress will any unsaved progress. Unsaved progress. All right, there we go, team. There we go, team. What a final act this is. I'm really interested actually to see where this one's going. Because they keep throwing weird curveballs at me, so I legitimately am interested in this one to see where this goes. Some of these other ones, I'm like, are you kidding me with this nonsense? But this one seems actually interesting. If for no other reason, it feels like there's going to be a supernatural element, which I'm looking forward to. Between the flying thing and the fact that Maya is still locked over there with the in the training temple, and Pearls is missing and presumably also over there. There's a lot of weirdness to solve with this, and this is actually going pretty well. With the exception of that sword thing that literally made me throw a cup in the office. Luckily, it was empty. Other than that, everything else about this has been at least mildly interesting. Mildly interesting. Super frustrating, some of it, but at least interesting. Of course, thank you to all of the lurkers. You help the Twitch world go around. We always appreciate you. Anybody who checks the VODs here on Twitch or checks the VODs on the YouTube repository, thank you. It's always greatly appreciated. If you need a well-thought-out solution, you need a thinking solution, Raven Hilbrick Inc., Thinking Solutions. And I think that'll do it, everybody. Yeah, I think that'll be it, everyone. I hope you all have a good whatever you're up to. And, yeah, that'll be it for me. Yeah. Bye!